Hey everybody, welcome to a first edition of Monday Night Live. I am Johnny Burns, and today we are joined by JMark Swartzentruber. I'm going to bring him out in just a second. He has a YouTube channel that he's been doing for quite some time now. He's taking a little hiatus to focus on some other stuff. I'll go show you a little photo of him right here. Hold on. There he is. And there's JMark. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, man, what an honor to be on the first episode of Monday Night Live. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for having me. It's been a minute. Last time I saw you, I was chugging peanuts. We were watching Bruce Willis with Dave Durant. What was it like? Live, die, repeat? No, kill. Doesn't matter. It was like one of those straight to red box, like hard kill. It was called Hard Kill.
Hard Kill.
And it had like 5 shots of Bruce Willis of like the back of his head was never him, but they had a couple of close ups. He was like, yeah. That's all right. And then like the whole movie was like a stunt double, and it was all shot in a warehouse. That's all I remember from that movie.
It was like you expected it to be bad. I mean, we expected it to be bad, but it was wow. It was like, and it wasn't even so bad. It was good. Like it was just bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like your hair, man. It's very vertical. I need to.
Thank you.
Oh, maybe if I. There we go. Straight from the shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to get some hair sauce, some Redken work hard paste, you know?
All right, man. Now we're brothers. Absolutely.
Looking great.
What's on your shirt, dude?
Oh, it just says equal justice under the law. Also, in my spare time, I do some, activism, and so, yeah. Christian, husband, father, YouTuber, business owner, and Westboro Baptist on the weekend. All the stuff. So
why don't you tell the people where you're from?
Southwest Michigan. So yeah, Southwest Michigan, and originally from Delaware, which is 10 minutes from where Burns grew up in New Jersey, right? So
close enough.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So
the last time you probably put out a video is probably like 2 years roughly, if you had to guess?
Yes, until a few days ago. I don't know if you saw, I posted my first video in like 2 years.
I didn't.
You haven't? Okay, yeah.
Tell the good people, what'd you put?
It's okay. I would have unsubscribed for me too. I understand. But no, I put out. I started using Google VO3. That new AI video software that they put out, and so I tried to kill Chucky in varying different ways. And most of the ones I generated were really bad, but I thought so bad they were actually really funny. And so I was like crying laughing while making it. And so, I just put it up on the channel.
You know what? I think I did see this video.
Yeah.
So I have now. But what I pretty much know you from is like this stuff over here. Let's see.
That's right. A lot of Chucky videos.
You did a lot of Chucky videos back in the day. Like, I guess just like reactions to the films you would watch with your wife. You guys would like banter back and forth. Mm-hmm. What was that like?
Yeah. Super fun. My wife is, I could be kind of vanilla at times, but my wife is very, cute, very expressive. And so, obviously, I mean, as you know, Burns, you got to bring the woman on and, show her different things she hasn't seen before. And so it's how you get the views up. But anyways, it's how you get the views, but it's also very fun. It's very fun to like show your partner, videos and movies they haven't seen before. And so, it's very interesting. This video that you're showing here I think is still the most viewed video on my channel.
That's how I grabbed it.
Yeah. I was very I was blessed. I think I was pretty early in the movie reaction wave, like pretty early on. Before it kind of took off. I remember seeing trying to remember his name, but I saw some other people on YouTube doing some, just sitting down watching a full movie and then like doing highlights of it or whatever. And I was always more of a movie guy than a video game guy. And so I just was like, oh yeah, I would love doing something like that. And so a lot of work to make those, as you know, but yeah, really fun.
What would you say you've learned from like, because I found this is like your #1 most viewed video.
Yeah.
So what would you say is like what you've learned from your most viewed and your least viewed in terms of like, oh shit, I should double down on this and I should never do that again?
Oh man. Yeah, that's a great question, because I remember Because if you look, one of the most recent ones of these that I did was like 2 years ago, and I reacted to I Know What You Did Last Summer, like movies 1 and 2, like put a ton of work into that. And I did like a double feature like in one video, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna kill. This has Jack Black in it. Like, this is so funny. And it has like 200 views. I'm like, oh my gosh, like
it's the greatest feeling.
Yeah. I just want to put my head through a wall. But yeah, it was fun to make though. But yeah, what have I learned? I mean, I think with this one, yeah, I mean, people especially like horror
Chucky
reactions overall. I mean, so I think there's that. People really like the Chucky franchise, and so it was fun to watch all of the movies, you know, and put that up. And what did I learn? I just learned that apparently people only want me to do Chucky videos. They don't want to see me watch The Notebook. They don't want to see me watch, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer. They're like, it's got to be Brad Dourif and it's got to be a killer doll, and we'll watch you. And so I'm like, okay, I just got to do what I can to give the people what they want, you know?
So would you say like one of the Chucky videos hit off, and then from there you're like, I need to make sequels to that and do all the Chucky videos or something like that? Was it kind of like that a little bit?
No, you're 100% right. Yeah. And yeah, I hadn't seen the rest of the series. And so I was just like, well, yeah, it makes sense. Let's just go watch through all of them. And so, yeah, I would say that's the best performing series on the channel was going through Child's Play. I watched maybe like half of them by myself, maybe half of them with my wife. And yeah, they just get progressively like weirder. And so, yeah, I had a ton of fun watching them. And so, yeah, if you're into horror or like having a fun time into the Chucky series, I would definitely recommend watching them for sure. So,
well, my go-to has been Terrifier in the last 2 years or so. Those are the ones that really popped for me.
That's you,
which will bring us to our first topic of tonight.
Yeah.
They actually just announced there's a YouTuber called 3C, and he went to a convention where Damien Leone was talking, answering questions, stuff like that. And they revealed that Art the Clown's origins will be an emotional and satisfying conclusion to the saga. And they also iterated about how it's going to be in the first 15 minutes of the film. Now, have you seen the Terrifier movies?
I actually have, yes. That they were a real, even as a horror fan, that, you know, watched all the Saw movies in 24 hours. I'd never seen them before, and I watched them all in 24 hours, binged through them. Yeah, Terrifier was an endurance test for sure. But yes, I did watch them, and I did find varying degrees of enjoyment in them.
Do you have any theories about the origins of Art the Clown, like based on context of like the father and the sword and the supernatural element? What would you expect to see in the next chapter, considering part 3 has a cliffhanger, as it were?
Yeah, right. I think that yeah, so I think that the like who actually is, like if we're looking at a character who actually is Art the Clown, I would say that Tom Savini, you know, the makeup artist that inspired Damien Leone. I think they're going to make Tom Savini out to be Art the Clown, and because at that point it's like, who else do you choose in the movies? All the other ones would be kind of gay in comparison, I think. So I think they got to go for Tom. What's your vote, Burns?
I think it's gonna be David Howard Thornton without makeup on.
Okay.
I think that's probably a safe bet.
Okay. Have we seen him without makeup on in the films?
Not in the films, no.
Okay.
But I imagine they're gonna give him some time to act because he needs to do something outside of the clown makeup. I feel a little bit.
Okay.
From what I've seen from like interviews, it seems like the guy wants to do more than just Art the Clown. Although he seems really into it. He's like, the girl who plays Sienna and Damien Leone are kind of like, well, you know, we want to do one more. We don't want to overdo it, and then we kind of like branch out into other projects. And he's like, I will play him 8 more times. So, you know, which is kind of clever because, like, if you look at anybody else who's ever played like Jason, Michael, Freddy, Robert Englund, he knows where his bread is buttered. Brad Dourif, Chucky, you know, he's still, how old is he? He's got to be like 80 by now. He's still chugging those out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I listened to over the weekend. I listened to an interview with Damien Leone on the Inside of You podcast.
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yep.
Yeah. I heard that one.
Yeah, it was good. And I also didn't know that what's her name? Sienna
Sienna Shaw. It's yeah.
Yeah, I also didn't know that that's the actress's name or that's her character in the
No,
movie?
Lauren Rivera is the actress.
Is the actress. I didn't know that she was a stunt woman.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it carries through pretty much.
It makes sense, and the fact that he was, like, actually talking her down from doing different stunts that she was, like, wanting to do, I thought that was very interesting. I also thought it was interesting that Michael Rosenbaum was like, "Okay, you promised you're not gonna do more than 4 or whatever?" He's like, "Well, no, I'm not gonna promise that." He's like,
come on.
yeah, he's like, "I would never do that." He's like, "But no, I wanna do 4 and just, like, take a break for a while and do other projects." So I'm like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Well, I can't say I've seen Damien Leone do other projects because he's only pretty much done this. But David Howard Thornton, who plays the clown, Art the Clown, he's trying to like sneak in movies in between the sequels.
Okay.
Like, so he's done like he played the Grinch in the B movie, The Mean One, which is a horror movie based on the Grinch.
Oh,
Right?
really?
Yeah,
I did not know that. Okay.
Nobody did because it wasn't good. I think he did one of like the Steamboat Willie, like Mickey Mouse.
He was in that too?
I think that was him.
Okay.
And then most recently he did one called Stream, which is like the boys who were like the producers / cinematographers on the Terrifier movies. They did their own project, and he's kind of like in a purge mask.
Okay.
But again, if you put those on this, if you take out Art the Clown, you're like, I could see why he'd be like, I don't want to give this up because this is where my bread is buttered. This is where the money's coming in. The conventions they want to know about art, they probably don't really. It won't carry it, as it were.
Right.
But speaking of Lauren Rivera doing her own stunts, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
And talk about in the news, at least for the box office,
Okay.
Ballerina with Ana de Armas.
Okay.
An actress who is not known for stunts. And
yeah,
I saw this movie this weekend, and
how was it?
I mean, look, have you seen the John Wick films?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so it's like you could take all 4 of those films, and then below that is Ballerina. I think it's better than the one episode I watched of The Continental, which is like the spin-off show.
Okay.
Where like Winston's character is like given a prequel back in the 60s, and I'm like, we didn't need that. Keanu Reeves and the director of the John Wick franchise have come out and said that they were kind of disappointed because they were asked for notes, they were asked for guidance, and they gave it, but they were kind of disappointed that when they saw the finished product that they pretty much just ignored all of that. And I think you kind of get that. What's that?
For the show?
For Ballerina.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Like they asked them, they're like, hey, what do you want? You know, what should we do with this? And the director and Keanu were like, we should be this, this, and this. And they're like, okay. And just kind of did their own thing. This is what I'll say about it. I will say that, you know, for one, she is standing at like 5'6", 100 pounds soaking wet, and she's tussling with these giant WWE guys. And the thing that I noticed is like when you watch Keanu Reeves fight, it's very fluid. It's kind of like, you know, he's legit the fucking one, right?
Yeah. Right.
And when you watch Ana de Armas, you can tell she's borderline counting the moves, right? So it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like it's very choreographed and not fluid. But to Keanu's credit, he's been doing this shit since like the Matrix movies.
Sure.
So I'm sure, like, you know, so it felt like that. But even what's her name? Atomic Blonde. What was the girl in that?
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron probably would have been the better move than Ana de Armas. So let's go.
She's like almost a grandma at this point.
Doesn't matter. I mean, how old is Keanu Reeves? Like 60? I mean, come on, it's fine.
No, he's forever young. What are you talking about? No,
he's going over to the box office. It opened up at number 2.
Okay.
Number 1 was Lilo and Stitch at 32 million. Because did you see it?
Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
I have not. No, have you?
I have not. But I figured you're a dad. Maybe you brought the kid. I don't know, something like that. I don't know, man. Did you see Snow White?
Oh man, I've seen a bunch of YouTube videos about it, but no, I haven't.
So
would you recommend it? Like super high?
I would, man. I would. If you see one movie this year, go see
Snow White.
Rachel Zegler. Number 3 was Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning with 15 million.
Okay.
Number 4 was Karate Kid with 8.7.
Okay.
Followed by Final Destination Bloodlines at 6.5.
Okay.
Number 6 is the Fenican Scheme at 6.25. That's the Wes
I think
Anderson
it's
movie.
I think it's Phoenician.
What is it called?
I think it's Phoenician.
Phoenician.
I
See,
think so.
I'm not a giant Wes Anderson guy, so I do apologize to those
Oh
who
my
care about that.
goodness.
Bring Her Back, the movie we're going to talk about in its second or third week now, made 3.5 million. Something called Evil Eye made 3 million, followed by Sinners at 2.9 million for a total of 272 million. That one seems to be holding on pretty strong. Of all the movies in recent history, that one seems to be like the slowest decline in percentage week to week, which is good for movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't know why. Well, I know why Lilo and Stitch is number 1. It's because children and Disney and all that. And number 10 is 2.5 million, hanging on there with the Thunderbolts.
Burns' favorite movie of the year.
It's fine. It's okay. I mean, it's not the greatest. I recommended a movie to you. I was talking to you, and nobody saw this movie. It only got like a limited release. It's a Stephen King adaptation. It's up there with like Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile and Stand By Me. It's made by Mike Flanagan, who did Haunting of Hill House.
Oh yeah.
The Life of Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
And it made like $200,000. I don't even know how that's possible.
Well, so it doesn't come out till next weekend.
Okay, so it got like a limited release this weekend.
Yeah. I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure it said next weekend is when it comes out. So, so that hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better.
I'm like, wow, this movie. I mean, is this the world we're living in, where it's like Lilo and Stitch is like ruling it because like families and maybe people are just kind of like, not. They don't want anything sophisticated on any level. They want to go watch Lilo and Stitch again or Mission Impossible.
Right.
Fantastic movie. I'm not going to talk about too much because I'm sure some people are like, I don't even know what that is. And fair enough. The movie that we were talking about last week before we started doing this was a movie called Bring Her Back.
Yes.
With Sally Hawkins. And I mean, she really is the movie. We have a bunch of unknowns as well. But let me get your take, because it's the Filippo brothers, the guys who did Talk to Me 2 years ago. What did you think of this movie? What did you think of Talk to Me? How do you compare them? The essence of this movie? What were your thoughts?
Oh man. Well, wow. What an honor getting to go first.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, it's funny looking at the list that we just went through. This will just kind of show you dad life. So we have an almost 2-year-old. So our son, Jack, he's going to be 2 in a little over a week. And so we still do pay for like a monthly movie pass at our local theater, but like my movie theater watching is like going down like this. And so it's kind of fun because when you were asking me about Talk to Me, because that came out, I think that was 2023. It was like summer of 2023, right after Jack was born. And so like there was a little bit of a break. And so I'm like, well, let me go to the theater and just get just do a bump of horror. And I'm like, oh yeah, like this movie is freaking awesome. I'm like, I love this. And I was recommending it to people, and got like the Steelbook or whatever, I think, or I don't know if I have the Steelbook, but anyways, I purchased it. I'm like, this movie's amazing. And really liked it. Really, really, really liked it. I thought the Filippo brothers, I thought their story was like inspiring also. I would watch some of their, Rocka Rocka videos over the years. And so, just thought it was one of the best horror debuts of the last like 10 years. In my opinion, it was definitely up there with Barbarian, like one of my favorite horror movies of the last 10 years. And so, I think my favorite scene in Talk to Me for sure is the one that apparently they shot like in one day, or like they could only shoot in a few hours, but that like almost drug sequence where they're like everyone's like experiencing the hand at the party, and it's like shot almost like a music video. I was just like, man, this is such a fresh like sequence. I'm like, this is so cool. And then so love Talk to Me. And then going into this film, I super excited. This is definitely one of my like most anticipated movies of the year. And I would say it didn't disappoint. I would say that some of my takeaways from Talk to Me is like, wow, like violent, whoa, like some things happening with children, and then wow, this is like a feel bad movie. And I feel like they like double down with
Yes,
Bring Her
there
Back.
was no levity in Bring Her Back. I feel like
Yeah,
with Talk to Me, you kind of have like the party scene with the hand. They're having a good time. You know, they're kind of like smoking. They're like like that kind of stuff. And then when you get to Bring Her Back, it's just well, hold on. I have an image here. Let me just pull it up real
show it
quick.
to me.
There we go. Yeah, this is a scene that people seem to be buzzing about.
Yeah.
There's a couple of scenes in this movie, but this is the one that, from a horror gore point of view, because most of it's just nihilism across the board and gaslighting and stuff like that. But this is a scene that I think people are gonna like just cringe at when they watch when our main character Ollie here, or one of our main side characters, decides to bite into a butcher knife and eat it a little bit because it's yummy and high in iron.
Eat it a lot of it
A lot
is
of
what I
it,
would say.
a lot of it, and then takes a couple bites out of the wooden table in front of him.
Yeah. So tell me what were some of your initial thoughts with the movie? Like what did you think of Talk to Me, and then like going into this movie,
Well, I love Talk to Me. Like I remember, like as soon as it came out, I pre-ordered it, and I was like, I want to own this movie. I enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. It deals with grief and all that stuff, and different elements. I love that the Philippo brothers are, I think they're Australian, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of do their own thing, and they don't work within the studio system. Kind of like a Terrifier, if you will. Like they're not like when you
Yeah.
watch most horror movies now, they're very like lots of check boxes, lots of like we have to do that, and then follow these bullet points, and it doesn't feel original in the least. It kind of just it's fine,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like it's like Megan. It's kind of just like all right, like you know what you're getting from the trailer. The trailer kind of shows you the whole thing. Unfortunately, I did
Yeah.
not get that with Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back kind of unnerved me because the Sally Hawkins character kind of freaked me out more than Ollie because she's a gaslighter, man. She's pure evil. And if you've ever met anybody like that in real life,
Yeah.
it's kind of like you watch that, you're like, oh, I know that person. I've come in contact and brushed across those people, and it's like, get me the fuck out of here. So it's like, I was so afraid for the teenage boy more than I was the little girl in a lot of ways. I'm like, well, she likes her. So
Yeah.
she's probably going to be okay until you get to the end where you're like, no.
Yeah.
But like you're like, oh, but that boy, he's she's got like the fake piss, or no, it's not fake, it's her piss.
Yeah.
She's pouring her piss onto his pants every
It was
night,
not fake.
and then gaslighting him, being like, oh, you still have the PTSD, huh? I don't
Wait,
think you're a very good father figure for your sister here.
that's right. Well, you just jumped right into it. You spoiled the piss scene. So, I mean, are we just getting into spoilers?
I think so. I think it's been out long enough where we can kind of bump around with it without,
Right.
much
Yeah. Well,
spoilers, people.
but yeah. Well, piggybacking off of what you said about her relationship with was it Andy? Well, the first kind of clue you get right is that the photo where she like, hey, let's all take a photo, and then she's like
Yes.
standing in front of him, like
Yes.
clearly not considering that, and you just see him kind of react. Oh, okay, well that's different. All right.
Which I had a thought about that too, is like, that's only like a fuck you move, because like even if she took that photo, went to like Walmart or Kinko's, had it printed, put it in a frame, put it on the shelf, you would still see like floppy blonde hair behind her head. And you'd be like, oh yeah, that's my first photo of my new adopted daughter. You'd be like, what's with the fucking hair above the? I was being a bitch that day.
Yeah.
Like,
so did you look away at all?
no, but I did find myself shifting my seat a lot, kind of like whenever they did like the tense scenes where Sally Hawkins was really messing with the boy, I guess. And like I knew where it was going. Like when like the place is getting trashed and like she's kind of framing it up to be him a little bit. I'm kind of like, all right, kid, you need to run. You need to get in that car with the broken side mirror and book it the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And then he gets the he goes to like the CPA or something like that, or the CSP, or
CPS.
maybe. CPS, and he finds the old woman who's of course useless, to just be like, listen, you gotta come. And of course she's like, oh no, she worked here for 20 years, she's fine. And you're like,
well, she was useless until she was useful. Like, I mean, she did go with him. I
Well,
mean,
going into full spoilers,
yeah.
when they get to the house and she's like coming out of the shower and
Uh-huh.
she's trying to really like, oh, she's kind of cleaned up a little bit. And eventually the gig is up because she's like, she sees blood and she's just like, she just grabs her and she's like, we can finally do it. We can finally do it this time. Like, I get an inkling that they must have been part of the same cult of people that were doing the whole videotapes and because she seemed to be like, we can finally do this bring her back thing that the movie's called, and we could do that because I've gotten closer to it. Like, she does bring it up, which is odd.
So, so I'm trying to understand. You're saying that she's trying to carry on the ritual that was used in the videos. That I mean, that's how I
Yeah.
was reading it. Is that how you were reading it too?
Yes, but what I'm saying is that years ago she was part of it. Like, whenever they show like the VHS tapes and behind the scenes when they're filming it, like the people walking around in that really
Yeah.
dark room, I think it's implied that she was a part of that cult, and I think the other woman that was there to make sure everything was going okay at least knew about it, because she's like, we're finally there. Like, they've been trial and erroring this whole thing to try to get it to work. They've
So
had mixed
you
results, and now she's like, now I nailed it. And she's like, you're crazy. You need to stop this.
so you read her the interaction with Laura and then her former coworker as like the former coworker was in on it?
Not in on it, but culpable. Like, she knew about it, and she might have even
Okay.
been a part of it at the beginning, and then got
Okay.
out.
I
Because
guess
I went
go
back
ahead.
and watched it again, so because I was kind of curious. I was reading like the Wikipedia, but yeah, apparently she seemed to know about it, but obviously was in no way nearly down the rabbit hole the way Sally Hawkins was.
Okay. I guess the way, I mean, I could be wrong. I guess the way I read it was she knew that her daughter had tragically died and it was a
Right.
tragedy for her also. And so she was like, maybe like like, hey, we can bring her back. Like you also knew her, not that she was a part of that group. That's how I read it. But again, maybe I just misread. I was home teached, so when I was younger. But what was I going to say? One thing I did love is that you also mentioned it was a cult, and Johnny. I mean, hopefully I can call you that, Johnny.
Sure.
At the beginning of the movie, doesn't it start out by saying this is not a cult? So refuted. There you go.
Yeah, but fake news.
You're like, I don't know. For not being a cult, this seems very much definitely like a cult.
Well, I mean, we've come this far. We might as well go all the way. So,
Yeah.
let's just talk about the end of the movie. Spoilers if you haven't seen it.
We'll just whip it out.
It's been
Let's
2
talk
weeks.
about it.
Just whip it
Yeah.
out. So the old lady and the boy Andy go to the house to see,
Yeah.
like, okay, let's investigate. Andy finds the dead bodies in like the storage shed.
Yeah.
Right. And like little Ollie is like eating part of her daughter, Kathy. Because that's gonna
Popsicle.
frozen pizza Kathy.
Daughter sickle.
Her daughter that drowned. Which is never a good sign either when, like, day one you bring these adopted kids in, like, this is your ward. And like the first thing you see is like an empty pool, the dead daughter's name, and it's like, oh yeah, my daughter was blind too. She drowned. Oh, you're blind too? Oh, I'm sure it'll work out great.
Well,
I have a great track record.
Yeah, right.
Why don't you come out with me and dance by the pool that my daughter drowned in? I'm sure nothing will go wrong. But yeah, they kind of set up this whole thing with like water being a connector between the dead and the living.
Yeah.
And the father clearly drowned in the shower, which is a little ambiguous as to why that happened. He just kind of dropped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then he gives a vision to Andy, telling him to tell the sister, don't go in the rain.
Yeah.
And then that does happen. And, the woman at the office, she gets killed off.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big struggle, I guess. She hits him with a car. Yeah.
Oh.
They try to leave.
Oh,
they find the bodies with the frozen pizza daughter, and they're like, let's go. They finally go. She fucking comes hauling through with like an F-150 and just takes them both out. Woman's dead on arrival. And Andy gets drowned in a puddle like Bruce Willis in Glass.
That's right. Yeah. That is what happened in Glass, man. Yeah. So wait, so that's how you read it? You read it as Laura killed both of them. That's how you kind of read that scene?
Well, yeah, she
I'm just kidding. I'm like, that's not how I read it, Johnny.
How did you read it?
I read it as, she was putting them in a timeout.
Well,
No, I'm just
as one does. It is Australia. It's how they do it a little differently.
That's right. That's
when
right.
you're a bad kid in Australia, they hit you with a car. Like, eat the puddle.
Did you? So I feel like I've seen in some reviews people expressing that they felt like that was anticlimactic, I think is what they were getting at with Andy. I mean, I don't know. I didn't necessarily, that didn't really hit as hard for me as being anticlimactic. I mean, I'm just like, oh wow, this is like, they're going there. Okay. I don't know. How did you feel about that? Andy's death?
I wasn't thrilled about it. I mean, I legit went like 4 more minutes thinking like, oh, he'll be back. Like it's a fake out. Like,
sure,
she didn't do it long enough.
Yeah.
Or we have like this supernatural bullshit, like where people can be brought back to life. So like maybe they'll like swing it this way. There was that bit where like Andy's voice starts coming out of Oliver as a fake out to get the sister to come closer. Right. So you're like, maybe they'll figure it out. And then basically the flyer for the missing child of Connor Bird makes its way back to the pool. Oliver sees it. He remembers who he is. He walks outside the circle and he kind of comes out of his trance. Well, first of all, before that happens, the girl kicks him in the stomach because he's got like a bloated stomach. And then from there, he pukes up the soul. He seems to be okay. Cops show up. And the last scene in the movie that I remember is Sally Hawkins in the pool with her frozen pizza daughter. Not quite dead. She's just kind of holding the body of the corpse, and it's kind of just left to the viewer to figure out what happened after that, as far as I remember.
Yeah. So how did you read the scene with when Laura, the character of Laura is in the pool with Piper, and so apparently to complete the ritual she has to like kill her the way that her daughter was killed, died.
Sure.
How did you read how she got out of that? Because she says mommy at one point, and so
Sally Hawkins just gives up. She drops the ball because like she's drowning her. Because I went back and rewatched it. She drowns her a little bit. Yeah, and we have some flashbacks. And I think she like kicks Sally Hawkins enough to get out.
Well, she like scratches her eye, I think.
Yeah, she kind of goes on the offense, and when she gets up, she tells her to stop, but she also yells "mommy," and maybe it was Piper, or maybe it was like in Sally Hawkins' head. Yeah. But I think it was finally at that point that she realized, like, oh, this is batshit crazy. I'm drowning a blind girl in the pool. Yeah, and she just stops long enough to let her just kind of like run away. Yeah. And she does. She goes like to the front yard, and the car comes up, and somebody finds her and stuff like that. And that's when the cops show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I wasn't at first. I was like, are they saying that it worked? Like the ritual worked, but then it didn't seem like there were any other reasons. Like as it went on, it seemed like it was just Piper. So I was just a little confused by the mommy thing. But anyways, but it was man, and then when the cops like swarm the pool, and she's just like laying in the pool with her dead daughter, like I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is like, whew.
And if you watch like the first cop who walks over, none of them are in a rush to like, hey, Sally Hawkins, get off her. They're kind of like they got like the only thing lighting the pool with the flashlights because it's nighttime, and they're slowly walking in, and they're like, yo, Bob, you wanna nudge her? And they're like, nah. Did you see that shed? She could have a knife. I ain't touching that. I also wasn't sure if Sally Hawkins was dead or not.
Oh,
I think she's alive.
Yeah, I thought she was alive.
I don't think she gets injured enough to be bleeding out, as far as I can recall.
Yeah, no, I think she was okay. What did you think about? I mean, man, because that's just like so freaking disturbing, man. Like the little clips that you see from the cult and the ritual and all that stuff. I thought it was done very well. I like that they never just came out and said, hey, this is everything you need to know. Right. Like they put the pieces throughout, and you could pretty much piece together.
I think that's kind of like the best way to do something like that in this kind of movie, because if you explain too much, it becomes really stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like everybody has their own interpretation of what this could be.
Yeah.
And like kind of like a franchise that has too many sequels, when you start filling in those blanks too much,
Yeah.
more times than not, it's not a great idea. I mean, first of all, we're not dealing with anything that's realistic, so like right off the bat, you're kind of uphill. But I
Mhm.
think they show just enough of like the background of it to kind of be like, all right, I get an idea. Like you do like you have somebody who's alive, and you kill them, and the
Mhm.
other person like eats them a little bit. You do like a little circle on their head, and
Yeah.
then ex facto bring her back,
Mhm. Well,
which
and
is
you got to puke that into the new body. Remember?
well, Oliver was trying to eat the frozen pizza baby. Frozen
Yeah.
frozen the
So
frozen
so
pizza daughter.
so to Mr. Ending Explain, tell me, and I did watch that video by the way, it was good. So tell me, remind me, so what was Oliver's part to play in Laura's ritual?
I think he was like
Was he just
a
overseeing
trial.
it?
No, he was part of it, but again, they don't show you a complete ritual before that, and we
Mhm.
know that this one wasn't successful. So
Mhm.
I imagine the end game was to try to put her dead daughter into Piper.
Right. But
And the best I can kind of figure with Ale is that maybe he was facilitating the ritual a little bit because he seemed like he was walking up when they were getting close to it. But
okay.
there was like a nephew or something that was named Ali
Uh-huh.
that I think that she might have lost probably from like, drowning in the pool.
Another pool death?
But clearly that wasn't Ali.
Yeah,
So
it was a
like
different yeah, he was kidnapped. This is a
right,
kidnapped
but
kid.
or I mean, I'm clearly that wasn't Connor Bird, and clearly that wasn't Ollie. It
Yeah.
seemed like it was like they did their best to try to put the spirit of this kid named Ollie into Connor Bird,
Mhm.
and then she had that kid. But the thing is that like it clearly didn't work. Like this was definitely like not a successful one because Ollie was messed up. Like it was definitely not Ollie,
Mhm.
happy kid that may have died in a pool, and it wasn't Connor Bird who was missing his family.
Mhm.
So it was like it seemed like she had to keep him in this like trance with the circles on his head, otherwise he would like bug out a little bit.
Mhm.
Like when he pulls him out of the circle in like that midpoint of the movie and he starts like screaming and stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know. It was a little ambiguous, but again, I think it's probably done intently so because you explain too much, it kind of falls apart a little bit.
Because I was trying to understand if because from the videos, the VHS tapes that she watches, I thought, or maybe it was on Netflix. I'm trying to remember how she watched them, but I think it was VHS or DVD. But anyways,
Yeah, VHS.
yeah, I don't think it was Netflix or Prime, but as she's watching it,
Disney Plus.
it was Disney Plus.
Right next to Anora on your streaming service.
Like, everyone, hey kids, everyone watch Nora. No, so my understanding is that it was the love, like it was like the grieved loved one that was. This is so horrifying, but like that was taking the nibble out of their deceased family member, and then they were like the grieved family member was the one puking it into the new body. But then
Right.
that's why I was trying to understand, and I'm like, is Laura supposed to be doing that? Because it doesn't seem like she is. It seems like maybe she's outsourcing that to Holly. So, anyways, but I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. But
Right.
yeah, he's a part of it. And listen, my 2 cents. I don't think he was an angel. That's my 2 cents. You know, she makes a comment saying an angel came to me. Laura, I don't think that was an angel.
They do downplay that, the whole angel bit. Like she mentions it once, they put it
Uh-huh.
in the marketing, and then when you watch the movie, you're like, I wasn't like you think she would have been getting like a vision, like even if she was crazy, having like visions of angels and halos and stuff of that nature, but like
Well,
she's just full on cuckoo
well,
for Cocoa Buffs.
but you saw the moment in the bathroom, right?
Well, which one?
Well, because she gets like a glimpse, right? She gets like a glimpse of the entity that was in Ollie for a second, and it like scares her,
Okay.
and it looks kind of like a demon. It's just like it's like really quick. So, anyways, that's all I was saying. I'm
Well,
like, yeah,
I remember him being like he had like the yellow eyes and the red beat up face and stuff like that.
I
And the
thought I
mirror
remember seeing
the
something
mirror breaks because like he's looking at the mirror and he breaks it with his
breaks.
mind.
I for some reason I thought I remember like horns or something. Like again, really quick, but you don't remember that?
I do, but I think I remember it differently.
Okay.
I don't
Interesting.
remember seeing like the face of a demon or anything like that, like you're
Well, it
describing.
was like more of like the silhouette. It wasn't like a fate. Like
Okay.
it seemed like more of like a shadow or something like that. Um, Somebody mentioned that these two films are like Talk to Me and Bring Her Back are in the same universe. Did you hear this,
Yes.
or is
That was
that
that was in my video.
okay? Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, you were the YouTube influencer that mentioned that.
There you go.
So remind me again why they're in the same universe. How we know that?
Well, they confirmed it in interviews, so that's probably the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
But also like there's no like there's no hand in the background of a scene or something like that.
Okay.
But like they both deal with grief,
Sure.
right? The one lost a mother, one lost a daughter.
Sure. Sure.
And both of them, like I said in the end of my video, which you can go check out, which is
Mhm.
the icon of Ollie and the word grief below it. Go check it out on the channel.
It's really good.
I pretty much thank you.
Yeah.
I talk about how water is a conduit, and I kind of found this in the research too. Is like whenever
Mm,
there's like dead
right.
characters, whether it be ghosts, demons, possession, it always seems like there's water running somewhere that indicates like as a warning, like oh, foreboding incidents about to occur, because like it seems to be like a conductor for them, like how they get into like the veil
Mhm.
from one universe into the other.
Right. Yeah. There's water is a big point of the
like
theme.
like the mom and Talk to Me is like waterlogged every time we see her, a little bit more each time.
Yeah,
Like
and
her
she
like
dies in the bathroom, like in the shower. Out.
right,
Yeah.
right. So there's definitely a connector on that front. But I was doing the research on this, and uh Talk to Me 2 was going to come after like a while. Because that was my thought. I'm like, would you want to see anything from Bring Her Back kind of like make its way into like a Talk to Me sequel, like bring back Sally Hawkins or have one of the side characters, or just how big or how small of a cameo or an Easter egg or a connective tissue would
Mhm.
you want to see in something like that? Or would you just want to just leave it alone?
That's a great question. That's right. There was gonna be a Talk to Me too. Yeah, they were talking about that, and then obviously Street Fighter, and then that didn't happen. Um, I at this point, I mean, heck, I'll watch anything that they make, but at this point, I think I'd rather them do something original. You know what I mean? Like do something else. Like Talk to Me, then Bring Her Back, then do something else. Because I'm really liking this. These original ideas that they're coming up with. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I'd rather just be one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's probably in the same universe,
yeah,
but it's not like, I mean, look at the mess we're in now with like connected universes. I guess the MCU is probably the biggest one to point at, but like it becomes stranglehold to its own device where it's like, well, we have to make sure this works because it has to connect with that. And granted, we have far less movies and entries, but still, I'd rather them have like a blank canvas to do whatever they want and not be pigeonholed to, well, the demons in this movie have to be like the demons in that movie,
Mhm.
stuff like that. So, but basically, it's funny you brought up Street Fighter because they actually didn't do Street Fighter because they went to go do this instead.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they were like, there's no creative control on Street Fighter because the studio picture would have been very much, and I love that because they actually got kicked off of YouTube and they're like, oh, I guess you can't handle us, YouTube. Bye. And they did their own thing, man. They're renegade filmmakers, which is like my favorite kind of filmmaker. It's kind of like Damien Leone. He didn't
yeah.
take the money to do Terrifier 3 with a big studio. They actually want to reboot the entire franchise, just call it Terrifier. Just
Okay.
like nothing's canon. We're going to recast everything. We're going to do it up the way a Blumhouse studio picture is going to be. And he's like, no.
hmm And
Um,
it was like one of the, I mean, like one of the most profitable movies ever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for like an indie B horror movie. And I can't
Mhm.
imagine them just saying to the audience, hey, Terrifier 2 with the sword and Sienna and Jonathan and all that, not canon. Here's Zendaya as your new final girl, and Art the Clown's being played by
Timothy Chalamet.
Willem Dafoe. And
Willem Yep.
no, Chalamet's little brother.
Yeah. He
and
gets he
and
gets saw he gets sawed in half in the shower with a chainsaw. Timothy Chalamet. Yeah.
right. We have Ned from Spider-Man. He shows up for a scene.
Right.
Like you don't want that mainstream kind of shit with this kind of B horror movie.
Keanu Reeves fights back.
He,
Terrifier.
he shows up for one scene, like Keanu does in indie movies. Jeffrey
Um,
Miller says, "LOL." Thank you, Jeffrey Miller. I didn't know it was in the stream.
hey, there you go. Nice. Is this did you see that on YouTube or okay. Hey, I see it.
I'm going through StreamYard
Oh
where I
yeah,
have like
okay.
the dashboard. But
Um,
yeah, I think basically Talk to Me Part 2 comes out probably for at least another 2 years, because they said they're doing press on this movie, and they said they already have an idea for another horror movie, which is going to come first. And
Okay.
then as far as Talk to Me goes, they said they have 2 scripts that could be Talk to Me 2, or actually it's going to be Talk to Me with the number in the middle.
Ah.
Yeah. And all they really said is like there's a really great kill in one of the scripts. They don't know which script they're going to do. So
Okay.
I'm thinking like 2028 we're going to get that fucking movie. It's not
Okay.
coming down the pipeline tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean,
But you know, it's funny enough, we're talking about crossover events and stuff like that, where it's like after watching Andy go face down into a puddle, kind of like the way Bruce Willis does in Glass. And I remember that big scene in the end of Split, where like, you know, there's that diner scene, and we kind of pan over, and it's like, wasn't there a villain? You know, something like, was it Glass or something? And he's just like, Mr. Glass. And he's like, oh, it's Bruce Willis. He's from Unbreakable. They're going to do a crossover. And then we saw how Glass came out. It was just like, oh, okay. What was it, like Sarah Paulson or something like that? It was like a therapist.
Yeah.
It was like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but actually, you know what? That's not fair to Cuckoo's Nest. But it was basically just like a therapy session with Sarah Paulson just being like, you guys are not villains.
Mhm.
And I convinced you of that. You're not heroes. You're not super. And the weirdest thing is, like, I'm watching, when I was pulling the clips to make the new video, I was pulling the puddle scene, and Sarah Paulson's like grabbing Bruce Willis's hand. She's like, take my hand, David. And then she's like, did I almost convince you? Did I almost convince you you're not a superhero? And he's like, I'm dying. Who cares? So I guess I've talked my way into this whole I wouldn't mind like an Easter egg, like if they name dropped a character of like, yo, didn't you hear about that crazy lady who, you know, drowned her daughter in the pool and she was hugging her, like you know, urban legend kind of stories that kind of like move around to teenagers or something like that. But like, I don't think I want Sally Hawkins teaming up with you know, any of the characters from Talk to Me to be like, we have to go ghost busting or something.
Right. It's like Terminator 2, like she's the anti-hero in the second one.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess like Sally Hawkins and Mia would be like in like a grief like circle.
Well, Mia's
support,
dead,
like a
right?
support group. Shh, spoilers. And
so what?
Or I guess what you could do is you could have oh, I'm sorry, Jeffrey Miller, still have yet to see Glass. I am sorry. Jeffrey, my friend, I do apologize. We're not going to spoil any more of Glass. My bad.
Burns is going to send you a sealed steel book as an apology for ruining the whole movie. No,
I don't think those exist.
And he will drive to your house and watch it with you, just to make penance. So here's a question about Bring Her Back. This is interesting. So we've covered a lot of the moments that, like, you know, people have really been hammering, right? And for good reason. I mean, it's a shocking film. I mean, some of the moments and images, yep, exactly, are going to be with me for a long time. What would you say is maybe like what is an overlooked moment that you think everyone should be talking about, or like a moment that you think will stay with you maybe for other reasons, like because it was, I don't know, hit you in the feels in a way you weren't expecting, or
pineapple.
Maybe, what's that?
Pineapple.
Or you mean grapefruit?
Grapefruit. Thank you. Sorry, kids. Pineapple is my safe word. Yeah, grapefruit. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, guys.
Mr. watched it 2 times.
I did. Strawberry. Tastes like schnozberries.
Yeah. Oh man.
But no, I think the Andy Piper connection is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the actor who played Andy is pretty solid. I've never seen him in anything else.
Same. Yeah.
I could see this whole cast going on to being in more things.
Yeah.
But you know, but then again, they're probably like all Australian actors. I can't say I've seen much of the cast of Bring Her Talk to Me being much. Although, isn't that girl in The Acolyte, which is probably not the best move she could have made?
Yeah, I think
or
so.
bodies. So maybe they'll get their time to shine. Maybe they'll get the time to pop off.
Yeah.
I like how Sally Hawkins returned from Shape of Water into Water in the Pool with My Dead Daughter.
Well, hold on. I think she did a stop in Paddington first. Burns, did you watch Paddington?
I've seen Paddington 2.
Okay. Well, Paddington 2, she was replaced. They pulled a Rachel, like in The Dark Knight, right? They recast one of the main characters. She was in the first one as the mother, and then they cast another mother in the second one. So, but no, she's yeah. So just the whole time I'm watching Bring Her Back, I just kept thinking like she was in Paddington. I watched it with my son. Yeah, she was great. Well, there was a dance scene. Remember, you said there was like not a lot of moments of levity.
When I was going through clips of like trying to like place images to clips, there's one scene where she's like, it's like, hey, what do your kids like to do fun? Because we just left a funeral.
Yeah.
And the kid just like very glibly says, Andy's just like, get hammered. And she's like, that's what we'll do. And cut two, they're just like dancing with the stuffed dog in the living room.
And the 12-year-olds like having booze too, and they like all get hung
yeah.
over. Like, I don't think this is very
Ollie is just creepily outside, kind of like, fuck's going on inside? Why was I not invited to the party?
Man, talk about standout. That little actor who played Ollie. Whew.
Yeah. Although it's not much to it, really. I mean, the makeup's doing a lot of the work. You just have to have that 1,000-mile stare.
Yeah, well, I feel like you got that down. What about the kiss? What about the kiss scene?
The kiss scene.
Burns. Don't even remember the kiss scene? I'm
trying to goad you into setting it up.
When they're at the funeral and Laura's like, kiss your dad. It's a tradition.
Give him a kiss.
And so he kisses him on the forehead and he's like, no.
Like a true gaslighter, she does it in stages. Like first she's like, you didn't look at him. You need to look at your father.
Look at him.
You lied to your sister when you said you looked at him.
Uh-huh.
You broke the rule of grapefruit.
That's right. And then they go back in and he kisses his forehead. And she's like, no, on the lips. Like
on the lips.
You're like, oh man. I feel like, yeah, they do a great job with her character because I really didn't like her at first, but then I feel like you kind of like her a little bit for 2 seconds, and then you're like, oh, okay, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't like
bad.
her. Yeah, so overall she did great. Oh, what about that moment where she
well, wait, JMark, have you never kissed somebody at a funeral? Have you never put a little smoochie on the corpse and said, I love you and goodbye?
I mean, I probably kissed somebody at a funeral, but not the corpse.
That's the tradition.
It's a tradition.
It's a tradition. In
on the roof,
Australia.
What was I gonna say? Oh, or what about where Laura like punches Piper in the eye while she's asleep?
Yeah. Just kind of like
it
was Andy.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't
boy who pisses himself.
Oh man, yeah, I would say one of the.
I'm trying to remember a little bit because I saw this movie like 2 weeks ago, I guess, and it was like, why did she cut the mustache off the dad at the funeral? I guess she used it for the ritual in some capacity.
She fed it to Ollie,
right? And maybe she was.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember why she fed it to him, but or maybe it was just to satiate him while he was waiting to feast on yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of little stuff. It's like they talked about how they took inspirations from The Shining, and I know in The Shining there were scenes where like the dog in the room with the man, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like, or you have like the guy who's like got like the head, he's bald, his head is cracked in the middle, and he's just like, great party, and you're just like, what the fuck is this going on?
What's going on here?
There's a lot of like that confusing visuals that kind of just mess with your head a little bit, which I like. I don't like when they over explain it. You're like, I don't want to watch Lost. You know? What I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want to watch polar bears and time machines.
It's not a mystery box. There are mysteries, but it's not like a.
Thank Christ.
Yeah. Yes. So Mr. Terrifier, so how on a scale from like Lilo and Stitch to Terrifier, like how disturbing is Bring Her Back?
I think it's more disturbing than Terrifier.
Oh,
because like I can watch okay, so I think I can watch Terrifier like as an R-rated or unrated Bugs Bunny Looney Tunes kind of deal. Like even in Terrifier 2, I love Terrifier 2 a bit more than 3. 3 is fine. 2 is great. You have the lore, you have the characters, everything's kind of just visually it's better. You have like a lot of blue and orange kind of lighting and cinematography. It has like a vibe to it. So I don't know, man. Like when you watch Art the Clown hack somebody up, it's kind of like Final Destination where there's a lot of like, oh, kind of reactions. But when you watch like Bring Her Back, you're kind of like, please stop eating the knife.
It hits differently.
It does. It does. I genuinely felt bad for Piper and Andy because like you could tell like they already been through like enough and like they were definitely getting gaslit into the ground and Ollie is just a psycho who's strangling the cat in the pool and yeah, I found the psychological end of it way more impactful than Terrifier, which is like fun. And if you have like a light stomach for like gore, like if the sight of blood freaks you out, it's definitely gonna fuck you up with like the bedroom scene in 2 or the chainsaw scene in 3.
Or
but I think
or the other scene.
In which one?
At the end of 3, around the Christmas tree.
Oh, the rats in the tube?
Oh, dude. Yeah. That was pretty bad. And what happened to the daughter again? She
drowned.
No. in the third Terrifier. She
goes to hell.
The daughter?
Yeah, the little girl you mean.
She's just like thrown down into hell?
Well, so Sienna is fighting Art the Clown in the living room, and the uncle is like fucking nailed to the wall. And Victoria Hayes got her head chopped off.
Right.
The blood out onto the floor.
Right.
That became acid. Come on, JMark.
No. Well, I remember because at first I thought it was right because I remember they there's the head in the basket, and I thought that was the daughter, but then it actually was Sienna's brother, right?
Right. So that was like a giant a lame misdirect. It's like they come in there and they're like, wow, we have Gabby, her head.
Yeah.
I'm trying to freak out the ant.
Yeah.
They kill the ant with the rats.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, aha, it's your brother. And you're just like, bullshit, it is. I just watched you lie to them about the head. Now you're trying to tell me it's somebody else. And we never see his death on screen anyway. So I'm like, yeah, I call bullshit. I call shenanigans.
Well, you're friends with the actor who plays the brother. So did you text him and say, hey, like, give me the deal?
Obviously.
What's the deal, man?
I opened up the group chat. It's like, yo, J-Dog, what up?
I guess, I bring that up because I'm like, I think I'm with you. Most of the kills, yes. Most of the kills, I do think they are more like almost comedy, over the top. Gross out, yeah. I think, but I don't know. I think the bedroom scene was a little bit, it was a little disturbing. And then I did think that the ending of Terrifier was a little too, but again, that's my opinion. You have yours. So, but you actually are saying that Bring Her Back is even more disturbing. So
for me, because like
you.
I can watch horror and kind of just gloss over because I'm dead inside. Or like, I guess the best way to put it, like if you're like a frog in a pot of boiling water, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Terrifier, you're just kind of like you're thrown into the pot, you boil fast, you die.
Yeah.
If you're watching Bring Her Back, it's more like you're in the cold water and you're like, all right, it's getting warmer in here. It's starting to, it's getting a little too warm. Holy shit, I'm boiling. And that's kind of it kind of slowly transitions from her being kind of a weirdo, as she says, to full on just like gaslighting, psychopath, manipulative, using all of her supernatural powers, as it were, of VHS tapes and nostalgia. Jeffrey Miller says in the comments, watching Terrifier 3 with the group was such a blast. I was laughing so hard. So Jeffrey gets it.
Yeah, he does.
He wasn't. I don't think Jeffrey was. I mean, feel free to comment down below, Jeffrey. But I don't think Jeffrey was, scheming in his seats too much when we were watching Terrifier 2 or 3.
You didn't, Jeffrey. You didn't pee your pants like I did.
Like Andy did.
Like Andy did. I know. I love it. Just like again, like.
I'm watching that scene and like I'm a light sleeper, but like, how do you not like if you were like this kid and like now you're living with this woman who's a little eccentric and they put you in this tiny broom closet of a room with this like sliding door that doesn't close all the way and you're sleeping on this kind of prison mat And like, you're telling me you're not staying up watching the sunrise because like deep down you can't sleep. Your sister's in the other room. This lady's kind of crazy. She's blocking you out of photos. You're telling me not one night he stays up? Because I would have loved. I really wanted a scene where like he's like pretend to be asleep. She's got like the ladle with the urine that she just made hot off the press, and just like, fuck you doing? Like nothing. He just sleeps right through it like a rock.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me this kid with like PTSD from like the dad and he can't even shower? He's got all this. I mean, if you have PTSD and like your trigger is like, I can't take a shower now. You mean to tell me like any liquids poured on you wouldn't wake you the hell up? Or you wouldn't just stay up one night just out of curiosity, watch what happens? You have all these odd occurrences going on.
No,
I don't know. It's just me.
Maybe. No, I mean, I would have trouble sleeping for sure. That first scene that they have alone together, Laura and Andy, when she's like persistently trying to see what he texted. That made me so mad. I'm like, what is your problem, lady?
The fact that she got the phone away and she got it unlocked, and she kind of was like immediately went into his messages like, oh, so you think Ollie is a fucking weirdo, huh? It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't be going through my fucking phone. Where is the privacy? I'm 17 and a half years old. I'm 3 months away. I'm in this tiny room with a workout bench and a cot. The door doesn't close. You're peeing on me. And you want to go through my phone?
She's like, really? Google images of Pam Anderson, Andy? Really? Like, really? Laura, you weren't supposed to. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Wow. This is just, I can't believe you're looking at this, Andy. Like yeah. Laura, please, Laura, just give it back to me. Like,
Jeffrey Miller says, LOL, not like Andy. And he says, when she got the bucket for that, I was, wow face. What are you about to do, lady?
Right.
Yeah, I think when I saw her take a little squat and like, they kind of show more than I would have wanted to see of her kind of taking her little squat out. And just like, yeah, all right, time to do my nightly ritual of pissing on Andy.
Right. Well, I'm actually just having trouble remembering it. Could you maybe put the mug down on the floor and reenact it for us?
I mean, I guess now's a good time of ever to be like, if you want to send a super chat to Burns Reviews.
We're at
that costs extra.
The second hour's on OnlyFans, and
I mean, it kind of reminded me of like, did you see Sinners?
I haven't seen it yet. No, was it good?
Oh yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. But there's a scene where like, I'm sure you've seen clips online. There's like a really big guy in like overalls, and he's like the doorman at the club that they're having this big one night event at. Yeah, and you know, of course, like a horror movie. It's basically From Dusk Till Dawn, but like in the vehicle of like an Oscar movie and a little bit more polished. But basically, he goes outside to take a piss, and that's like the reason why he, you know, spoilers, he gets eaten by vampires and turns into a vampire. It's in the trailer. I don't really feel bad about it. Yeah. But basically, like, if you watch that scene again, because I was watching it over the weekend again, like, he's full dick, just hanging out, just taking a piss. They don't bother closing up, like, they slowly pan in, which essentially means, like, I mean, they're panning on his whole body and, like, ooh, there's vampire eyes in the background. But there's essentially pulling in, and his penis is getting bigger on the screen as they do it. And I'm just like, I don't need to see this man pissing in live action. I'm sure they had like a prosthetic like that was like feeding a urine stream out of it, but like, and much like Sally Hawkins, I didn't need to see her. I mean, we don't see anything, but like, it's enough to be like, why was this included?
Right.
Sound editing is very effective. You don't have to actually show me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of schlongs, I don't know if that's the best.
Speaking of schlongs, finally.
Well, no. You were talking of this guy going to the bathroom.
I did.
Right? In the bathroom at the beginning of Talk to Me, freaking dead dad is just hanging out. I'm like, whoa, okay. I mean, I guess
that's right. There's schlongs are coming back, baby.
You see it like 2 or 3 times in the movie. I'm like, I mean, he's dead, so it is what it is. But
and I was watching like old horror movies. Did you ever see a movie called Sleepaway Camp?
It's on my watch list, but I haven't seen it.
It's kind of a dark spot in most people's horror history. Yeah. But I always see it like in documentaries and stuff like that. And do you know the ending of Sleepaway Camp?
Spoil it.
Okay. Spoilers, guys, for a movie from like over 40 years ago that you probably have no intention of watching until I talk about it. But like the thing that they talk about with that movie is like not even, it's a bad movie. They made it for like a very low budget. There are scenes in that movie where all the counselors and owners, how do I say this without getting YouTube to clip my video? Let's just say that they are highly inappropriate in how they talk about and look at the 14, 15-year-olds getting off the bus to come for the summer.
Oh boy. Okay.
Like there's like a really sweaty cook who's like just fat and gross, and he's just like, yeah, fresh meat. Back where we come from, we call that bald eagle. And like the guy who James Earl Jones' real life father is like the other actor, and he's just like, man, they're too young to even know what you're talking about. And you're just like, yeah, they are. And why is this in the movie? But the ending of Sleepaway Camp, the big reveal is that like, because in the beginning of the movie, you have a dad and the two kids, and they're little kids, like 8 and 9. And on the lake, they're in the boat, and it tips over. They're like a tiny little dinghy sailboat. It tips over, so they're all in the water in front of the boat. Meanwhile, there was a teenager who's like an instructor dude who's like basically dragging a girl on water skis. And next to him in the boat is another girl who's like a tourist who's like, I want to drive. And he's like, you can't drive. You're underage and your dad would kill me and all that. Fine, I'll let you drive for a minute. Meanwhile, the girl's getting pulled behind them. And they're looking backwards at the girl. They're not watching what's in front of them. And they go straight into all 3 of them.
No.
Right. Now, they don't show you who dies. Oh, and then also the dad's gay lover comes out of nowhere. And it's just like, you got to get out of the water. The doc is coming. We find out the doc is actually the sister of the dad who died. Right. Okay. And spoiler alert, the dad dies.
Okay.
The little girl, Angela, dies. But I think the name is Peter, is the little boy that lives. And at the end of the movie, what we find out is that the little boy who lived was taken in by the aunt, who was was more eccentric than Sally Hawkins, and was basically just like, I already have a little girl. I'm sorry, I already have a little boy. I want a little girl. So like, I'm gonna put a wig on you. I'm gonna dress you like a little girl. You're only like 8 or 9, so you're very impressionable. And you're just gonna have to ride this out. So by the end of the movie, everyone's picking on this little girl or boy who's been forced to be a little girl, Peter to Angela. Everyone's picking on quote unquote Angela, and she's the one killing everybody. And the last shot of the movie is like 2 of the counselors walking out, and like 5 people are now dead. And the big iconic shot is like Angela is naked, and this is on all the covers of the posters where like Angela's like with the eyes inside. It's like ee. And they pan out, naked body, dong, return of the schlong. And so like, oh no, she's a boy.
Wait,
and
that's the twist.
That's the ending. She's a boy, and it's like dong dong dong. And so like, and the behind the scenes I was watching, it was kind of funny and cool. Like they basically hired a college kid for like $200 that they told him to shave his body because he had to fit the character, shave his body. They made a prosthetic mask of Angela doing that face, and then wore it on top, glass eyes, and then they shot that. And it's funny because like the face is like, it looks like Madame Tussauds, like a wax figure face on this naked college boy who's just hanging dong. And that's the end of the movie. That was like the big holy shit reveal ending for like, I want to say 1984.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's a B movie that's got like a soft spot for people who have like just really love those genre movies from like the B-roll, like the Tom Savini movies, right? You know?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Friday the 13th. This Friday. You can be watching. This Friday is actually Friday the 13th.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Because I've been seeing a lot of articles about Jason and stuff like that.
And then the week after is the 20th anniversary of Brokeback Mountain.
Are you serious? Or are you just?
It is. It's getting a re-release in theaters. You gonna go watch it with me?
If you want. If you come to Jersey, I will go with you. Because I can't quit you, JMark.
I can't quit you, Johnny.
The comments have
Sleepaway Camp. Like that's the reveal. I almost want to just show that movie to Asia and not tell her anything about it.
You should like I feel bad because I've seen so many of these like horror documentaries like In Search of Darkness and stuff like that on Shudder, and like so like I know it because like they include it like in every list of 100 greatest horror movies of all time or shocking endings. So I know the ending. Most people know the ending more than the rest of the movie because it's
Yeah.
not a great movie. Like it's kind of like the first Friday the 13th where it's like very low budget.
Mhm.
Actors are not actors. When they were doing the POV shots of Angela as the killer, it's like a grown man's hand with like hair on his arm like this, and you're like, that's not a child. But they just shot it as is. Like they have a fake out scene with the little boy. They just put a wig on the little boy and put him in silhouette. But like, I guess the movie didn't account for the fact of like someday we'll have like Blu-rays and 4Ks and like we can lighten it up and all that. And so it's like it's not very effective in that way, but it adds to the charm of the movie.
During you mentioned that type of genre, that type of film, and Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th actually holds a special place in my wife and I's heart. During COVID, when things were shut down and before we got really rebellious, we were like, hey, we're gonna find some things to do inside, and so every Sunday after church, I was wanting to show Asia more horror movies, and we also were getting more ambitious with our hot foods. And so every weekend, every Sunday, we would watch a new Friday the 13th movie that we hadn't seen, and we would get a hotter wing on the Buffalo Wild Wings menu. And so we
Like
still
hot
talk
ones.
about it to this day.
Yeah.
Like that was so fun, just like watching another like bad Friday the 13th movie, just
Oh
with
yeah.
a spicier wing every week. And so, anyways,
Spice
yeah,
your movie.
that's right. So we'll have to do that with Sleepaway Camp. How many are there? Is there just one?
Well, no. I mean, if you ask like a horror fan, they're like, we only talk about one.
Yeah,
Because the sequels are like straight to video. I
Perfect.
skimmed like the dead meat kill count versions of them
Okay.
because I'm kind of like I don't need to waste 90 minutes. Like they're really bad schlocky sequels.
Okay.
Oh, down the comments. Haven't seen the movie yet. What's the name of the movie again? Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
And
Sure Sir said they were taking
Sir
off.
said, great stuff, but gotta go. Take it easy, fellas.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sorry. Sure, sir. Thank you for watching. I'm sure you've left already, but thank you.
Yes.
And yeah, Sleepaway Camp is the name of the film. The sequels are like different people, different cast, different directors. Everything's different. It's basically like it made some money, so let's just keep churning it out, And I think there's like a fourth one even where they brought back Felicia Rose, who played Angela in the first one, and now she's grown. And it's like a very much like a gratuitous sequel where like she recreates that scene of her going like you know what I mean? Like it's like something like if it was today, it would be like a fan film on YouTube. You know, like when you see like someone do like a Michael Myers fan film on YouTube, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I will say this. Speaking of, I'll be careful because I also don't want YouTube to clip your video. But I mentioned 2020. We were talking about the dad, just like dead, naked, and the Bring Her Back, and we were trying to speculate what killed him. And I mean, one of the things I was thinking as we were talking was, that's all I'm gonna say. The movie set during 2020, and let's just say. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Do you agree with me, Johnny?
I think no politics on the show, JMark.
What do you think happened to him?
The world may never know.
I was trying to look at his face because there was like yellow. Like I didn't know if they were trying to say, I didn't know if they were trying to lean any certain way or.
But Bill Gates might be responsible.
That's right. They never mentioned Bill Gates or Anthony Fauci. I don't even know if Australians have heard about them. You know what I mean? I don't know what they do over there in Australia.
Probably not. Probably not. They probably missed the boat on that one.
Right. So I think overall, I don't know if you agree with this, but I think overall, I do think that Bring Her Back is pretty solidly the better movie between, like Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. I mean, I think they really I think they really exceeded the first film in terms of quality, and then the Talk to Me is great. But yeah, it's just but it's an even harder watch. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a better movie quality wise, but whew,
If
like,
I'm having
buckle
people over and we're watching a movie, I'm definitely going to talk to me.
up. Sure.
Like bring her back is like you watch it alone or maybe with the wife or something like that, and like you
Right.
kind of, you know, it's kind of a bummer.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Nobody's like, you know what my favorite scene is? When Andy is washing his pants because he thought he pissed himself.
See, one of my buddies is he'll come over like weekly and we'll watch like a movie. We'll do like a weekly movie night. And we recently just went through the most recent Last of Us season, so we're through that. And like he and I went to go see The Monkey like 3 months ago, and we watched that.
What did you think of that?
What's that?
What'd you think of The Monkey?
Yeah, so I saw it twice. I really liked it. I thought the first half was like my favorite because it was more lighthearted and let's freaking go. Where'd you get that from?
I think it was AMC or Regal.
Okay, is that a popcorn bucket?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. Dude.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh man, that's awesome. I would totally get that.
What arms come down, yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's like pissing you off one day and you're just like, hey, and you just start winding.
My girlfriend's great, man. She never pisses me off. I guess that was like one of the prerequisites when I was like, I don't know, because I was dating somebody for like 5-6 years, and then after that I was kind of just like, you know, if I just decide to stay single and die alone, I'm okay with that. I think I'm just done on the whole dating scene.
Right.
And then like I met her, and like, you know, when I met her, I was just very like forthcoming with who I was and what I'm looking for and stuff like that. And
yeah,
you know, when you really put yourself out there, you're like, oh, you find someone who's just like you. I don't have to compromise, or I don't have to, you know, it just worked out really nicely.
Hey, well,
as I imagine it did with your wife, because these guys seem very happy.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. She, you know, as I'm sure you can imagine, she has to have a lot of patience, you know, being married to me. But
well, that I understand.
but no, well, and I'm glad. So initially, when you were talking, you're like, you know, things were like rough, and so after we split, you know, I decided like, hey, you know, if I don't date someone ever again, I'll be fine, or if I go gay, I'd be fine too. But you didn't like you didn't say that. You know what I mean? Like you found somebody else, and
you know, that last part didn't enter my brain, to be honest. I feel like you're just projecting.
You know what? Like whether I'm just alone the rest of my life or I go gay, like either way, I mean, you know.
I think your ears have to be checked because I don't remember that being part
of
my
story.
You
didn't say, no, I'm saying you didn't say you didn't say that. I'm just saying, like, you know,
nothing. There's anything wrong with that. But that's not what came into my mind. My mind was like, I'll live in a cabin alone. I'll watch horror movies and I'll just kind of do my thing. And yeah, you know.
Listen, so Burns, I know you want to keep talking about Anthony Fauci and going gay, but let me ask you this. So,
I am so sorry, America. the 3 people who are watching this live or after. So we did not screen JMark Swartzentruber before the show. We just kind of thought, come on over.
What was I going to say? But the monkey. So yeah, overall, yes. You liked it?
I did.
Yeah. I thought it
was. But no, go back to Fauci and your gayness, John. The monkey.
The funniest moment in my mind, I don't know if you agree, but the funniest moment was, I think the uncle, was it the uncle that when they cut to the uncle's death? You know what I'm talking about? So Oz Perkins is in the film and he plays like the swinger,
eccentric uncle. Yes.
Yeah. And they have this like montage of different deaths, you know, and it's showing like it's cutting to the funeral and the funeral music, like the organ music. And I think when they cut to his death, it was, I don't know, or when they cut to maybe it was his photo, cut to his funeral. I think I just was like cackling. I don't know. It's just the way they set it up.
It was a hard cut. Yeah. Cause like there was like a funeral before that. So like, there's like an organ playing that cuts you right back to the funeral again with that priest who's just like, as the Bible says,
it is,
it's a coin toss.
Yeah.
C'est la vie. Shit happens. Anyway. Yeah. He was like the worst priest ever.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what. Okay, so let me ask you this. We haven't
Yeah.
talked in a while. So Bring Her Back, right? We already talked about how heavy it is, how much of like a gut punch it is. How would you compare it to Long Legs in terms of how heavy?
I enjoyed the monkey more than Long Legs. Like I enjoyed Long Legs the first time I watched it because I didn't know what I was going into.
Yeah,
And I appreciate like how much they were like, hey, we really love Silence of the Lambs, and we're gonna do like that 90s vibe to it. I dug
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Cinematography was point on.
yeah.
What's the name of the actress from It Follows?
Oh, like
Micaiah Monroe or something like that.
Micah Monroe or something. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I found her a little wooden. I
She
mean,
was she had
I know she's
undergone
supposed to be
trauma.
no, but she's like did she even? Kinda. Her
Uh,
mom was a little nutty too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, no. So yeah, the monkey. I agree with you. The monkey I enjoyed more, and it
Yes.
certainly was not as disturbing as Long Legs. It was like it almost felt like a totally
I
different.
don't think Long Legs was very disturbing. Like I could like Nicolas Cage doing his funny voice kept pulling me out of it.
So so maybe it was okay. I'll tell you this. I think that like Bring Her Back is very disturbing. It's a gut punch,
Yes.
but for me, I think Long Legs is like, oh my goodness, it's like the kitchen sink for me. I'm like, you got like, okay, we're like spoiling Long Legs now, but like, but serial killers, Satanism, like, I mean, just like all this
Ah!
stuff. What's that?
That was just Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah,
Ah!
yeah. I I don't
It's
know.
just
It
like,
was no again, very well.
cuckoo,
Oh
cuckoo.
no, oh no, I'm not trouble sleeping tonight. No, again, very well done. I definitely appreciate it, but I
but,
watched it in theaters
but
and
you were
then I
talking about the
showed it.
monkey,
Well, what's
right?
that?
You're talking about the monkey.
Well, no, I'm still talking about Long Legs, but
Okay.
I watched both of them in theaters, but yeah, then I showed Asia Long Legs at home, and I'm just like, man, like maybe it was because I hadn't watched horror in a while. Maybe I like took a little bit of a break from horror, and then I came back to Long Legs, and yeah, like all the Nicolas Cage stuff was funny, but I'm just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like this is heavy. But
I'll
anyways,
tell you what I like about Long Legs. I like the beginning of the film when you know we're trying to find Long Legs and she's set up with this other FBI agent and they're assigned to go check out this area
oh man,
and she's
yeah,
like I know it's this house
yeah,
and he's like how do you know it's his house because he doesn't know that she's like um psychic adjacent
yeah,
she's got a touch of the psychicness
right,
and she's like I just know and he's
mhm,
like I'll be the man I'll go check it out
yeah,
and then he does and then just boom he just gets blown away and her going into the house kind of like Clarice Starling going into the basement of Silence of the Lambs like she's covering the corners all the entire house is wrapped in like cling wrap like Dexter and
yep,
then like and it's not Nicolas Cage although the trailer tried to make that shot make you think it could be
yeah,
but like it's just like she goes in she finds the guy and he's just like um you're under arrest and the guy's like sitting on the bed and he's just like I know. All right. And they just take him away. And I'm like, you could have followed up on that guy. Let's put him into the interrogation room and
mhm,
investigate him and stuff like that. Because that for me was like the most suspenseful. Like I felt so underwhelmed. Like Nicolas Cage goes into like the shop and he's like, you know, the girl who's like the daughter of the shop owner is just kind of like, Dad, that weird guy is here again. And that's when he's doing the cuckoo, you know.
uh-huh,
And like they show him driving and he's like yelling to himself and like and then we get the interrogation with him and not to spoil it but like it kind of just you know we have a bit and then we're just done with Nicolas Cage in the movie
yeah, well, yeah, yep.
and
I
then
mean,
it
it's not,
kind of
it
and then
is
it
a lot
and
of the
then
way through the movie, but yeah,
yeah but then it kind of becomes about like the doll and the mother and the demons and the stuff like that and then you
yeah,
know when the doll's head explodes or gets shot like a vapor or smoke lifts from the thing so like we have to get the ball out of the doll's head
mhm.
or you know what I think it's been long enough we could talk about spoilers for Long Legs let's talk about that family that she goes to visit for the birthday party for the daughter at the end.
Oh my goodness. Did you talk about it?
Yeah. I mean, because it's kind of great, right? It's like she goes to the house. She knows that it's like, okay, the family's not safe. I have to get there. My mother is crazy. She goes to the house. Her boss is there, answers the door like, hi, you're just in time. Like, lets her inside. The mother, there's that great line where the mother, his wife is sitting on the couch. And the daughter is sitting there next to the doll, and everyone's acting, and the mother's there too. Actually, now I think about it.
Yeah.
And she's kind of just like the husband's like, I'm gonna go
like
in
protection.
Yeah.
I need like protection while you're talking about this.
The scariest line to me in that movie is like they're talking about the cake. I'm like, we got the cake. Oh, you want to cut the cake? Yeah, we'll cut the cake now. He's like, we'll be right back.
And she's like, you don't need to cut the cake. And he's
like, no. He says, we're gonna go cut the cake. And he's like, honey, do you want to help me with the cake? And his wife says, we'll be right back. And without missing a beat, he goes, she won't be back. I'll be back. And you're like, oh. And at no point you're looking at like Michael Monroe and you're like, do something.
Yeah.
Like, because the wife didn't have to die in the kitchen.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's man.
And her mother's gaslighting her. She's like, this is all part of the plan, and you need to follow suit. And like, meanwhile the wife's getting hacked up in the kitchen, and you're like, you want to be an FBI agent for 5 minutes and get in there? Nah, I'm gonna let it play out. My mom's talking to me right now, so
right. Man, yeah. So there's like the Satanism. There's like creepy dolls. There's like possession of families to kill their family members,
right? Because they established that Longlegs doesn't actually do any of the killings.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. But anyways, no, very well done movie. Like 100% Oz Perkins. I'll tell you what, Oz Perkins, and I don't know if you've seen his other movies as well, but he like atmosphere wise, like knocks it out of the park. He doesn't really do jump scares or anything like that, but just the feeling of watching his movies and like the atmosphere around his movies, still like the Black Coat's Daughter and I'm the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. Like those movies still have stuck with me. I don't know. Have you seen either of those movies? I've
been meaning to watch The Black Coat's Daughter. I think I watched 20 minutes of it, and then I had to go do something else, and I never got back to it. But I've heard it's good.
So how I described Longlegs to Asia, my wife, was it felt like Black Coat's Daughter meets Silence of the Lambs. So hopefully that's not too much.
No, yeah. But Longlegs feels like Silence of the Lambs. So
that's what I'm saying. Longlegs felt like Black Coat's Daughter meets Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
gotcha.
But no, that's So Longlegs was really good. The monkey was really good.
Let's talk about the monkey for a minute.
Do it.
I want to talk about Elijah Wood being the eccentric stepdad, pastor, religious leader, who's also a lot of gaslighting in modern day horror movies, is it not?
Right. Wait, Elijah Wood. Wait, he was supposed to be a religious leader?
He's definitely, yes. He's like a Joel Osteen eccentric who's just like nothing but smiles, but like he's the type that leans in, is like, I'm taking your family away, fuck you. Like, and then just like, all right.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
To be fair, like Hal is like kind of like a deadbeat dad that kind of like gave up on his family and walked away. So
wasn't his name like Ted Hammerman or something?
I couldn't tell you, dude.
I'm trying to remember. It was like something so over the top, like masculine. But yeah, no, he was great. And what did he say? Like, I'm taking your power. I just took your power or something. Yeah. I just stole your power.
I just stole your power. Like, you didn't steal shit. What the fuck are you talking about?
He's like, I didn't give it to you.
I stole it. I like the dynamic with the brothers, with Hal and Bill. Because like one is very much like they're twin brothers, but like one just kind of is like, I'm gonna stay away and I'm gonna be like a clerk in a grocery store. And the other one's like, wind that fucker up. I'm gonna lean into this hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dark humor, very dry, dark sense of humor that kind of fits my sensibility as far as comedy and horror and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Oz. Yeah, I definitely would be definitely open to more like horror comedies from Oz for sure. And you probably like the supermarket manager the most. Was that probably your favorite character in the whole movie? Was the supermarket manager, the guy with the afro?
Oh yeah. I vaguely. I haven't seen the movie since like when did it come out? Like February or something like that. I haven't seen.
Yeah, he's like He's like, "Dang, man, that
That
sucks."
sucks. Or
Yeah.
like the opening scene with like was like the guy from Severance is like
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott. He's like the
Yep.
dad of the pilot. He comes in the pawn shop.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty solid. It,
That
it
was
really,
great. Yeah, that
it
was a
really,
great
and then he's
opening.
outside with the flamethrower and he's trying to burn the monkey. He's like, yeah, really sets the tone. Title card, you
Yes,
know,
the monkey. What was your favorite kill?
in the monkey.
Real estate?
I liked the lady, uh, that was just minding her own business in the house. She's got the curlers in.
Yep.
And then she goes in the basement and then she trips and like all the fishing hooks go into her face. And then she's trying to like make the tea and the water's boiling. And then she gets doused in like a flammable liquid. And then before you know it, she's running out the front door on fire. And then she just goes like face into a post. Dead. It's just so over the top. I mean, there's that scene in the trailer, you see it too, where like he's at the motel and someone's about to jump in the pool, and it's like Final Destination. There's like an electrical cable floating around and just like blows her up. You know, like it's a fun time. I think it's probably like my like top 3 of 2025 horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What's your top 3?
Well, I like Bring Her Back. I enjoyed Final Destination Bloodlines.
Okay, I still need to see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like The Monkey. Like those are probably, if I really think about it, I'm trying to think of like, it's been kind of a slow season a little bit
Mm-hmm.
for like horror movies. I'm trying to think of like
Sinners?
ones. Sinners was great. Yep. Hard Eyes. Did you see that one?
I've not. Well, that was pretty good.
It was pretty good. It was more
Mhm.
of like a comedy. It's like one of those like it's like one of your like lower tier Blumhouse kind of movies a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Blumhouse made it, but like it's like like the new Scream sequels.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that, like diet Scream, like not
Okay.
quite Scream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
A little bit of kind of like Ballerina felt like to John Wick. It's like, oh, we know what we're supposed to do, but we're not gonna just copy paste.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't feel legit to me. It just feels kind of off.
Final Destination is actually a series I've not seen any of. So I just recently started watching the first one on Max. I think partly because I keep bringing it up, but Asia's like, no, like that looks too disturbing. I don't know, just like
Really?
just just
It's really
how
not.
realistic, not realistic it is, right? I think just some of the trailers have really like freaked her out, but it is like so over the top that it is kind of funny,
Yeah.
and
Like, I mean, it will give you a fear of planes and giant logs falling off the back of trucks.
right.
You know, stuff like that maybe. But it's very schlocky and over the top.
Jeffrey's been like super
Jeffrey's
active,
killing
man.
it. He's our MVP in the chat today.
He
He says,
is, yeah.
this is fun, guys. We'll definitely check out The Monkey now.
Yeah.
That was a shocking scene. I love it.
Mhm.
And I like the characters from the latest Final Destination movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I know you haven't seen it yet, but there's like 2 set of siblings in Final Destination. You got like the girl who's the main character and her brother. And
Okay.
I think the brother is played by the same actor who's in the Chucky TV show.
Oh, the main character? Like this
No, I think his friend. I haven't seen
Okay.
Chucky in a minute.
Okay.
No, it's definitely not the main guy. It's like his friend or something like that.
Okay.
And but there's another set of siblings, of brothers that are way better. And I could have watched the entire movie just following them. Like one is like the guy that you probably saw in the trailer. He's like the hot topic looking dude with all the piercings and like the black and the emo look. And he's got like a really sensitive brother who has like a turtle named Paco.
Okay.
And like there's like such a sweet scene where he's just like, because they figure out like pretty early on. Like what I like about the new one is like there's none of that bullshit of like, I don't believe this Final Destination shit. They're like they believe pretty quickly.
Okay.
And he's just like, listen, man, if anything happens to me, will you promise you will take care of Paco for me? And he's like, nothing's gonna happen to you, man. It's just, I don't know. It was very endearing where like they actually spent some time writing these characters out. Where I'm like, this Final Destination Bloodline is pretty damn good.
That
Because if you go like if you're gonna have like a marathon one day watching them in order, you might feel like a slump as you get towards like 4 and 5.
okay.
But like if you feel the need to skip those and just go straight to Bloodlines, do
Mhm.
it, because like it's definitely like a return to form.
Is it so that's 6?
I guess
Okay.
it gets complicated once they start putting numbers to them.
Okay.
Yeah, and you spread it out of course like 20 years.
Right.
Yeah. But
So
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Bloodlines is 6.
The first 3 are the best, and then it's like 4 or 5 not so good, and then 6 is like up there.
I mean, 1 is the best.
Okay.
And then 2 through 5 are kind of like pick your own adventure.
Okay.
Everyone's gonna have their different opinions. 2 is the one that has like the logs from the highway scene.
Okay.
Everyone seems to be traumatized by that, so like definitely don't skip on 2. But then like from there to Bloodlines, like 3, 4, 5, I guess. I think one main set piece is like they're at like NASCAR and like the tire. Yeah, Jeffrey Miller. Yeah, 6 is Bloodlines.
Okay.
One of them is like they're at NASCAR and like the tire goes out into the audience and takes somebody out. I think there's one where it's like you got. See, I don't know if I'm confusing Saw and Final Destination, but there's 2 characters and like they're in like a window of like an exhibit, like kind of like people walking by, and they're inside like the showcase and like they're fighting to see who's gonna live. This might be fucking Saw, but like a plate of glass falls on them. I don't. They get really murky after like 3.
Okay.
Oh, and like there's one with a bridge, where like a bridge just kind of falls apart, and like there's poles going through people and stuff like that. They're getting on fire. They're burned alive. And again, they're schlock. Everyone knows the first one with Devin Sawa.
Yeah.
From Chucky.
Yep.
And he's on the plane. And like anyone who's ever had a remote fear of flying, that's the one that people always remember. Everything after that's kind of just like, it's like a Saw sequel. Like it's bigger, better, not better. It's bigger, more over the top, kind of like all over the place.
Isn't there a acupuncture one too? I feel like I remember seeing a trailer where someone is like has a bunch of the needles in, and then they like fall over or something.
Yeah, it was but again, like it's not memorable in my head at least. Where like I'm like, of course, it's kind of just like, oh yeah, there was like a scene in part 5 where I think there is acupuncture. Like the guy, like the TV executive guy from The Boys, like the fake director, he's in there. He's the guy who gets the acupuncture, I think.
So you don't like you weren't scarred for life, and anytime you'd gone to get acupuncture after that, you were terrified?
No, I'm like, fix me up. There's one in one of the sequels where like somebody is like getting corrective eye surgery, and the machine gets pushed, and like the laser is like zooming it across the eye, and that one's pretty good. I think there's also one with like tanning beds that go awry. That's also pretty good.
Okay.
Kind of like your I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, yep. Where he's like turning it up.
The log truck scene says Jeffrey Miller too. Yeah, that one's pretty. Again, that's the one that everybody has this fear for life now. Even for the marketing for Bloodlines, they had trucks driving away with banners on the side. It's like Final Destination, Bloodlines, and there's logs in the back of a truck. And the videos show people like driving out of the middle lane where the logs are. They're like, nope. I know they're plastic, but nope.
Not doing it.
Yeah. Well, have you seen any horror movies this year?
Have I?
Yeah. 2025?
Yeah. Well, I saw The Monkey twice in theaters, and I also saw I watched this one twice in theaters as well. Nosferatu.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, technically that's 2020.
Right, but I watched it, and then I think I watched it again in 2025.
Let me pull up the real quick. Let me pull up the 2025 slot of movies that came out.
Yeah. I'll tell you which one this new dad has seen.
Okay, so yeah, I mean it's been a slow kind of month. Like January we had The Wolfman. Do you remember that movie?
Oh man, that was one I did really want to see because I love The Invisible Man, but I haven't seen it yet.
The chick with Ozark. It's not great. I gave it 1 star on Letterboxd. So yeah.
Oh.
Did you see Companion, the robot girl?
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, I saw that. I've seen that twice. Yep.
I didn't like that movie, man.
That's right. You didn't like that.
It just seems like men are bad, toxic man bad. You're like, all right, I get it, Hollywood.
It's funny for like how not politically correct I am, as you know. It's funny. I've talked to a couple people that have said that, and that didn't bother me as much. I don't know why. I'm just like, he was just one of the bad guys. I don't know. He was.
I don't love the idea that they're like, you're not allowed to treat your AI robot lady friend like trash. She's got feelings too, and you're like, no, she don't. Like, if I want to go in the driveway and take a billy club to my car, that's my right to do so.
Uh-huh.
It's my property. I paid for it. It's an
Oh my.
inanimate object that has programming.
Uh-huh.
So, like, the idea of, like, there's been a couple of movies that came out. There's, like, a Megan Fox robot one. It's kind of like Megan a little bit. But, like,
Oh.
there's been a couple of, like, AI movies lately. Sometimes not even in the horror genre. They're just like, you know what? You have to be considerate to the feelings of the AI. And I'm just like, what are we trying to lay the foundation on with this? Like, what are we trying to say to audiences? Because I don't like it. Skynet was right. Sarah Connor was right. Come on. I'm even using ChatGPT going like, this is going to backfire one day.
Right. Hey, I'll just say this: the wine bottle opener. That's all I'll say.
In what? Oh, yeah, the electric wine bottle opener. Exactly. Yeah. I think I also got to the point where I'm like, I'm tired of seeing Jack Wade.
Oh, really?
He's in Novocaine. He's in this. He's in like a couple other movies that I like. He did a movie with
He was in Scream.
Yeah, he's in Scream. He's in that movie with Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, it's
that came and went. And I'm just like, I'm so tired of Jack Wade. He pops up in commercials now, and I'm just like,
he's like the new Pedro Pascal.
Yes. Let me ask you. Fantastic Four, Superman, Jurassic World, Rebirth. Which one are you? If you have to pick, what are you seeing
out of those three?
Yes.
What was the first one again?
Fantastic Four.
Oh, so yeah, Fantastic Four, Superman, or Jurassic World Rebirth.
Correct.
Yeah, definitely Superman, like 100%.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested in seeing Fantastic Four, partly because that was. I remember in 2004, 2005, whenever that first one came out. Excuse me. I remember as a kid, like I loved that movie. I was like, this is the greatest movie of all time. And so yeah, and I do appreciate Pedro still, and so I'm like, I want to see it. But yeah, I would say Superman though, like a James Gunn Superman. I have high hopes. I'm really hopeful that it'll be something really special. So
Superman's all about hope.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's what the S means.
That's right.
So yeah. If you're going Superman, and then what would number 2 be? Fantastic Four or Jurassic Park Rebirth?
Oh yeah, 100% Fantastic Four. I haven't seen. I'm trying to remember. I think I only saw one of the Jurassic Worlds. So
they're rebooting it. It doesn't matter. We're clearing the slate and starting over. It's like if you saw the first one, that's fine. We got Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali, who never got to play Blade.
Mahershala Ali.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm not a giant Green Book fan like you are.
That's so funny. I think I did react to that trailer like on one of my old channels, but I never actually watched it. One thing I was going to say though was, so I watched your ending explained for Bring Her Back, but I was going to let you know, I thought you did a really good job with that. And it looked like in the comments too, other people really enjoyed it as well. But the one bone I had to pick with you was how you say water. You say
water.
like water. And I'm like, is that how everyone in New Jersey says it? Like they say water?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
water.
No, it's water. It's
water. Well, how do you say it?
What's that?
How do you say it?
Water. Isn't that normal?
And how do I say it?
You're like water.
Water.
You're like the Filippo brothers. There's they clearly have a theme of water in their films, and I was like, and he said it a couple times. I'm like, maybe I'm just so pretentious, but I'm like, Burns.
I mean, it could be that.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I feel like when I've gone to different states, I've heard you're not the first person to say that to me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, and it might be like a New Yorker thing, not so much like a Jersey thing, but like New York is right by Jersey, so like,
right.
It might be how we say it here. I don't know. That or it's just a glitch in my brain. I don't know. Maybe that's the case.
It's okay. I don't want my money back or anything. Like,
cool.
I still like the video. So
cool. But, okay, so we got 3 movies. Okay, so I had the list here, and we're pretty much through it all.
Okay,
Companion, and then it goes into Hard Eyes, which we talked about.
Yep.
The Monkey, which we talked about. A movie called Clown in a Cornfield. Have you heard of it?
I had not heard of it till like a week ago, and then I saw it was, you know, in theaters and doing okay, and I was like, Asia, we got to watch the trailer for this. I'm like, I didn't even know this was a thing, and it looks interesting. So,
Yeah,
did you watch it?
I did. I made a video on it.
Okay, how was it?
Not great.
Okay, no, you had pretty high hopes, like in the clown.
I mean, it's called Clown in the Cornfield, so you're kind of like, it's gonna be a clown in a cornfield.
Yeah, it's gonna be the next Shining.
It's it's very much a low budget movie. I think the marketing was kind of funny, like based on the novel, and like when you go and you look up the novel, it's a young adult, a YA novel that came out in 2020, like just a few years ago, and there's like 3 books, but like it's like kiddie books, like Goosebumps or some shit like that, and they're like, they try to make it sound like Stephen King, not like, no, dude, no. That movie was bad.
It was written by Stephanie Meyer, who wrote Twilight.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of the actor. Let's see, they got it here. Kevin Durant. Do you know who that guy is?
Oh yeah. My wife's a big fan of his. So
there you go.
That guy. Yep.
He's like the glorified cameo that they gave like a big chunk of the production budget to.
He plays the cornfield.
He plays the cornfield? That's
No,
a big job. He's in it. I don't want to spoil the greatness that is Clown in a Cornfield.
Okay.
But like, did you
we've spoiled like 40 movies.
That's fine.
Around people. Clown in the Cornfield. That's where I draw the line.
Exactly. Because I have integrity here on Burns Reviews.
That's right. Jeffrey Miller. Sorry, we're not spoiling that one.
Did you see Thanksgiving?
I did.
Do you remember like the guy from Suits was in that movie? Like he plays like the dad. He looks like a chipmunk.
I remember Tim Dillon, and I remember Patrick Swayze. What? And then one of the guys.
Swayze's dead.
What's that?
Oh. Patrick Swayze's been dead for like 10 years, dude.
No. Sorry,
not Patrick
Swayze. Mr. McDreamy. What's his name? Patrick
Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey. All those Patricks look the same to me. So one of the guys from Suits is in. Oh, that guy. Okay, yes.
Yeah. He plays like the dad. You know how he's like the owner of like the Walmart, and he's like the dad to the girl. That's what Kevin Durant is kind of like in Clown in a Cornfield, where it's like they paid him some money.
Okay.
He showed up for 4 days.
Yeah.
He did his trailer footage and he got out.
Okay.
But it's largely a bad movie.
Okay.
I would not recommend it.
Largely. Minorly, it's good. Like there's a minority of it is Oscar worthy.
I mean, sure. One might say that. I wouldn't, but one might say that.
Is there a scene like with a blind girl going into the cornfield, and it's like, wow, this could be something out of Pixar? Like this is pulling at my heartstrings, and then it just goes B movie just after that, or
no. Moving down the list, we talked about Sinners.
Yep.
5 stars out of 5.
Okay.
Until Dawn. I saw that. Did you?
I have not. The director, what's his name? He's done some other cool horror movies.
David S. Sandberg.
Yes. Yeah, I think he did the
Flash and Annabelle and
Creation, which was a good Annabelle movie. I feel like he did one other one too. I'm trying to remember. But anyways,
Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
No, okay, yeah, not the Shazam. But he's also like a YouTuber that got into like filmmaking, and so I see anytime he makes a movie, he'll put like behind the scenes videos like on his own channel, which I think is pretty cool. But anyways, so yeah, I did want to see Until Dawn. I mean, I heard it wasn't like the best movie ever, but
it's not. Well, the big problem is that they completely abandoned the game.
Oh no, that's not good.
So they introduced, and they're like, it's in the same universe but a different story, and just deal with it.
Okay.
And they introduced like a Groundhog Day element where the day keeps repeating.
Okay.
So like, they get killed off, but like then the hourglass turns back upside down, and like they just vap back into the house, and it's like, oh, we have to learn from that and not do that again. But at the same time, the villains keep changing, so they have to like adapt a little bit. It's kind of like Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
Did you ever see that one?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. So it's like all the creatures kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're kind of caught up, man. It's like Final Destination Bloodlines, and then it's Bring Her Back.
Yeah. There's a few. Yeah, there's a few out right now, and so yeah, I definitely do want to see Bloodlines and Sinners. But yeah, would you say Sinners lives up to the hype? Because I've heard like some people were like, this is like one of the best movies of the year, and then other people were like, I mean, it was good. Like it was a little like I don't know. Where'd you fall?
My girl doesn't like it, and we've had long debates. We had like over the weekend we watched it. It's like a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah,
almost like 3.
Oh
and
boy!
I think it took us 5 hours to get through it because she kept hitting pause, or I'd keep hitting pause.
Okay,
and we would kind of like debate little bits about it. And she doesn't like how it represents, I guess, like black people, or it's like too on the nose, because she's part black, so it's like she's kind of like, I don't like how it's like, I guess what did she like, either too woke, or she says like it's not consistent, and they didn't say certain things back in the day, and I'm just like, I'm a spoilers, guys, I'm a white guy, so I can't really comment on like the accuracy of the heritage of the black community and how it ties into what was going on back in like 1939, I think, when the movie set.
Yeah,
I also wasn't alive then. So I just kind of take it at face value of like, yeah, it's a good story. I don't think she liked that she said that it doesn't have enough gore, which I think is debatable. But like, it doesn't have like, From Dusk Till Dawn kind of like splatter gore.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like when the vampires in that movie get killed, like it's kind of like the blood really sprays the camera kind of stuff. Yeah, Jeffrey Miller makes a good point. It's much more than a horror movie. It is. It's like, what if we made an Oscar movie, but like, we mixed in a horror movie into the paint and we painted it with that. And the third act is very much From Dusk Till Dawn to an extent. But you could remove the horror elements and kind of have like an allegory for like society during that time with the Jim Crow and all that stuff, and how they were interacting with like the Klan that was nearby and stuff like that. And I think it works on both levels. But me and my girlfriend have a disagreement on that, so I'm always curious to hear what other people think about it.
When she was angry that it wasn't gory enough, like was that one of the most like attractive things she's ever said to you, or?
I mean, kind of. I mean, it wasn't a demerit. I was like, I love that we go to theaters and see horror movies. Like, she loved Bloodlines.
Yeah. Okay.
She definitely loves horror movies. She's more of a sci-fi girl.
Okay.
So like, I guess that works out nicely if you can find like, there's a lot of overlap with like horror and sci-fi. Like we just started rewatching the Forrest Whitaker version of the Twilight Zone from like 2002.
Okay.
Which I've never seen before. I didn't even know until like, she was like watching it on streaming on her laptop, and all of a sudden like I just see Forrest Whitaker walking. He's like, imagine if you will. And he's got like the one eye going. He's kind of just like doing his whole bit. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it made me want to go back, and I went on Prime and I started rewatching the original ones from like the 50s and 60s, which are like the all-time best Twilight Zones you can watch.
Right.
I remember they used to play them like all day long on like, I think it was like New Year's Day or something like that, and I used to watch them as a kid and stuff like that.
I've seen I think I've seen like 2 or 3 of the best episodes. I mean, like I just looked up like best episodes of Twilight Zone and watched a few, and I would definitely like to watch all of them at some point. What was I going to say with with Sinners? So do you say it's like an Oscar movie? Do you think it's going to get like Best Picture nomination love?
I'll tell you what I told her. I think it'll get the same nominations that Dune got, because Dune is one of those like sci-fi action movies that usually don't make its way into like the consideration, as it were.
Okay.
But because it's so grand in scale and everybody loves it, and the Oscars, if you look at it from like a political point of view of like, they're losing money, they're losing viewers, they're losing watchers. Yeah. It's like you can kind of notice like they keep trying to tweak it every year. Yeah. Ever since Will Smith, or maybe even before that, where they're like, how do we get people to watch? We can't just put Anora on the screen. I mean, even Anora is kind of like your mainstream movie a little bit. Yeah. Amelia Perez, not so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
So
that
I
one got
think
buried a little bit as the award season went on.
right. Jeffrey Miller just said I have the soundtrack on my playlist, and yeah, I didn't even get into that, and that's an understatement.
Uh-huh.
The music is fantastic in Sinners because
Okay.
like it's all about the blues and how it like transcends time and space, and they kind of go all the way back. And it's in the trailer. I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but like the one kid, Sammy, Sammy. That's what the vampire keeps saying to him. He has like a banjo, or it's not a banjo. I messed that up in my other video. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a special guitar,
Okay.
and he's able to kind of like transcend space and time. And there's like one really cool scene where like the barn's on fire. It's a fantasy, and like the music from all the different decades, even going into like the 80s and 90s where they have like turntables and stuff. Like all the music comes together, which is part of the reason why the vampire wants Sammy, because he wants his music. It kind of ties all together.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like that going on in the movie. But the music is fantastic. Not to mention the vampires are Irish, and I'm Irish. And there's one scene in particular, like when they go outside, and like because they have to be invited in. That's kind of like the big conflict, is that they can't get into the barn where the characters are. So like they're just taunting them from outside, and like the main character, he's kind of like a hive mind with all the other vampires. So like they start playing Irish music, like oh hey da do ba do ba da ba do ba da ba da da ba da ba da ba da ba da, and like he's just like there's like a giant circle, and they're doing a jig. And like I've never seen it in theaters, like when they were doing like the blues music, people were kind of like getting into it. And then when it got to like the Irish like folk music, I was like da 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 da. I'm like the one white guy in my theater. I'm like, you know what? This is my moment. Let me have it. There's like one other guy. I'm like, yeah. But it's good. It's the music is good. Like Jeffrey Miller's got the soundtrack on his playlist, and yeah, I pulled it up on Spotify when I was going for like a long drive, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty solid. The gore, I mean, I think the gore is fine. I think they do kind of like underdo it a little bit, like because when I was watching my girlfriend, like we were pausing it where the gore was, because she's like, "There's no gore in this movie," so like I kept pausing it at different spots where like blood would spurt out of somebody's neck, and I'm like, gore. So
she's like, no, that's just blood.
right, she's like, "That's what you call gore," and I'm like, "Yeah."
You're like, yeah, because I'm not a maniac. No,
right. Plus, I watched like the whole like behind the scenes of like Ryan Coogler being like, we shot this on IMAX on like 4 different types of film, and like like it is a beautiful looking movie, so it's like kind of like eye candy porn for like any cinephile that like really loves like giant big Oppenheimer spectacle type of cinema.
Awesome.
So like for me, that kind of just like alone kind of elevates it, where like all the little stuff that you might be like, well, that's not accurate. Like I don't care.
Okay.
Because we're dealing with vampires and supernatural, and kind of like or even like a Tarantino movie. You know how like Tarantino like rewrites history a little bit, but like you're like in an elevated universe where like I'm having fun. Like I'm not gonna get hung up on it's vampires, right?
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend it.
Man, well, you're actually making me want to see it. Actually, not that I didn't want to see it, but I was just like,
check out Sinners Ending Explained on Burns Reviews.
There you go. Should I watch it first or check out the ending explained first?
You should watch it before and after.
There you go. Get you 2 views in.
Exactly.
What was I going to say? When Jeffrey Miller said, I have the soundtrack on my playlist, that was right around the time we were talking about Amelia Perez, and I got horrified. But then it became clear it was the Sinners soundtrack. So
I have faith that Jeffrey Miller was talking about Sinners. I could be wrong, but I have faith based on his comments. Seems like a solid dude, probably talking about Sinners.
Did you watch Amelia Perez?
No. I think I tried to watch it on like one of those like websites where you don't pay for it, and I kind of was like skipping around going, yeah, you know what? I've seen enough videos where they made fun of it, where I was just like, I don't need to watch this.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And I skimmed around on it because I like Gamora. I like Zoe Saldana.
Yeah,
I like her, and I think didn't she win an Oscar for that? I think she did.
I think she did.
Was like the one Oscar, like they were like, look, we like her for other stuff. Here you go, get off the stage.
Just get off. Yeah.
I remember when like the Oscars were happening, like going into the season, like they had high hopes for Amelia Perez, and like the week before they were like, retreat. Everybody's turning on us. There's not, and then like Anora just like swooped it up.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? So we're thinking Sinners is gonna be in the Oscar running. What about do you have a list? I'm curious. What about like horror films that are coming up? Are there any like ones that are coming up that you're really looking forward to?
Well, I was going to ask you actually. Oscars aside, because they don't ever address horror movies in the Oscars, so it's kind
Sure,
of like
sure.
a mute point.
Yeah,
But I was on AMC upcoming movies because
yeah,
I have like you have Movie Pass. You said
yeah.
I have like A stubs for
Mhm.
AMC, so it's like 4 movies a week. I think it's like $30 a month or something like that.
Mine's only
But
3 movies a week, so.
but I just put the filter on for just horror movies coming up, and the 3 horror movies that are coming out, according to them on the list, is like 28 years later.
Oh yeah, yep.
Right?
Oh yeah.
I Know What You Did Last Summer,
Okay.
Megan 2.0.
I
Those are the 3. So
mean, yeah.
let's go back to our ranking like we did with the other 3. How would you stack those from most want to see to not?
Oh man.
Desert
Well,
Island, you can only pick one.
well, definitely 28 years later at the top, 100%. Oh man, but then the other two, I mean,
Flip a coin.
oh, it's hard because yeah, I
Have you
like.
seen the earlier entries of those franchises?
Well, yeah, because I mentioned I did a reaction video to the other two. I Know What You Did Last Summers, and so maybe that one just because I've spent so like you know how it is like watching it and then editing it, right? You do have like a connection to those movies, so maybe that one. It's just I was looking at the trailer and it's all new actors and I didn't really care about any of them, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know how it'll be, but maybe that one,
And they
and then
already
maybe
greenlit
Megan.
a second I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's already in the pipeline. They already greenlit a sequel to it.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so
Really
they're pretty confident.
really counting their eggs before they hatch.
And then Megan, I mean,
2.0, bitch. She's back.
yeah, they're going like T2 with it, where she's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, she's like anti-hero, like going to stop this other. I don't know. It could be fun. I don't know. It's not top of the list.
Schlocky fun.
Yeah, right. See, it's so,
What do you think the dong ratio will be in these movies?
well,
I
like
think
sleepaway camp.
because we were talking about like every movie we talked about, they're like, oh, there was dong in that movie. So if I had to go, I'm like, I think 28 years later probably has the highest percentage of dong, most likely. Just because like we're in like a zombie apocalypse and like somebody's gonna be running around like a caveman dressed like that and dong's gonna fall out. Megan, no. And what was the middle one? I Know What You Did Last Summer. Probably no dong. I don't think the fisherman's gonna open his coat up and be like, ha ha ha, and just. So yeah.
Jeffrey Miller, did you see his most recent comment?
The dong ratio should be a segment. I'll tell you what, it'll be a segment whenever we have JMark on. How about that? Is that fair enough? If JMark wants to come back every week and talk about the dong ratio, we can do that. I know he wants to go see the 20th anniversary of Brokeback Mountain, which if you haven't heard, said I agreed I would go see it with him if he comes to Jersey to go see it.
If I come to Jersey.
I like setting things up that will never happen. But if you call me out, if you come to Jersey, I will find a way to quit you and go see Brokeback Mountain.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's actually not a bad movie. Brokeback Mountain.
No, it's very well done.
I know we're taking the piss on it, but like it's actually a decent movie. I haven't seen it in forever, but like I told other people this. It's like I would much rather watch that than like what I've seen in like modern day cinema, where it's like it feels like sentiments like that kind of get shoehorned into movies.
Yeah.
And they're not done in a nuanced way, or it just kind of feels more like a checkbox more than it does actually feel like somebody had like an idea and a vision or something like that. It just kind of feels like, oh yeah, we have to include this in our movie. And the movie tends to suck anyway. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know. I think with like time, I've come to appreciate that movie more.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to deny. Yeah. I mean, it is very well done. Overall.
What is the dong ratio in Brokeback Mountain?
I don't think there isn't. I don't think they show any.
There's no dong?
I don't think so. No, it's more implied dong.
Brokeback dong ratio?
Yeah, the soundtrack. Was it Gustavo, whatever his name is, Santanelia? Jeffrey Miller, who did the music for The Last of Us.
Jeffrey Miller says the soundtrack for BBM is also great. What is BBM?
Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, duh. Okay. Duh.
Yeah,
I'm so locked into horror movies right now. My bad.
Yeah, right. I know who
I believe that.
we've gone so long that we are now talking about Brokeback Mountain. But yeah, no, it's definitely a well-made movie for sure. So, but no, I would say 28 Years Later is definitely that's on my list. I mean, that trailer alone is like one of the best trailers I've seen in the last 10 years. I mean, that is a phenomenal trailer.
I want to see that giant zombie. They're not zombies. That's what they always say. They're not zombies in 28 Years Later. But whatever you want to call them, the undead. There's like a mega one that's like ye tall in the sewers. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down for that. I want Cillian Murphy to come back. I think he's going to be in the end of this one. And he's promised to be in part 2 and 3 because there's a planned trilogy, they said.
I saw that. Yeah, I read that somewhere. So that sounds very interesting.
My only sticking point is that like Danny Boyle, who did the first one with the guy from Ex Machina, I can't remember his name right now. Danny
Alex
Boyle.
Garland?
Yes, the two of them are doing it. They're reteaming because they did the very first movie, but the sequels are not going to be Danny Boyle. The next one is going to be Nia DaCosta, who did the remake to Candyman, as well as The Marvels.
Not Danny Boyle.
Yeah, so that kind of makes me bummed that like by the time we get to Cillian Murphy, Danny Boyle is not going to be directed, and it's going to be Nia DaCosta from the Marvel / Candyman remake. Which Candyman remake was okay.
Yeah, it was alright.
I've never gone back to it. I think Coleman Domingo was the best part of that movie.
That's right. Yeah, he was in that. Yeah, he was great, and I really like one thing that stood with me was the opening. Do you remember the opening? Like the opening montage of upside down Chicago,
like the paper man. The paper man.
No. They're like, I think it's the title sequence, but it's it's like upside down Chicago with fog, and it's like the score is like hitting, and I'm like, oh man, this actually really sets a mood. Like it did a really good job. So that's like one of my favorite parts is just the title sequence.
Oh, and we also have the Black Phone 2 coming out because they just dropped the trailer for that. That was like the one like it's outside in the snow. It kind of feels like the thing. You got like a phone booth. Did you see that trailer?
that I watched the trailer for that and I'm like, that looks very. I feel like it could go either way, like very good or like very not. I mean, I have hopes. I really do like Scott Derrickson. I hope he's
Sinister
coming back to direct it. Yeah,
he is. Yeah, he's back.
Okay, yeah, so I feel like he can sometimes be a little hit or miss, but yeah, he has several like solid films. I mean,
I'll say this much: I kind of dig that they're
Weapons.
Yeah,
that's one of my.
We'll get to that because we have to pad the runtime. Oh, yeah. What I like about the phone book, the Black Phone 2 is that like they're not just putting that kid back in the basement again. With the black phone, and it's like I like the idea of like we're gonna change it up and we're gonna put it in the snow.
Yeah,
and I like the idea. Like there's a scene called Curtains. There's a movie called Curtains, and it's an old obscure B horror movie from the 80s, but I kind of love it. Yeah, that they take notes from where they show a character in a mask ice skating with an axe. And they redo it here with Ethan Hawke as the grabber doing it, where like you just see like a fog and you just hear like the ice skating, and he kind of just comes towards the camera with an axe. I'm like, he looks like the Night King from Game of Thrones with an axe, ice skating around, chopping people up. I like that they shifted it into something different. Because if it was more of the same, I'd be like, why do it?
Yeah, that is. I did not know that was an homage to
Curtains.
Another film. Curtains. That's interesting.
And Jeffrey Miller did say Weapons, which is the children who kill by night or do something at night. Kind of open-ended, right?
Yeah, well, I guess they all like
they go missing
or abducted.
Right?
Yeah, they all leave, and then I guess come to find out it's all children from this one teacher's class. So it's like her whole class, and then they all suspect her. But and
it's a chick from Ozark again, from Wolfman.
There you go.
Silver Surfer.
Which I mean, I really liked her in Ozark. The first couple seasons I saw of that show, and but yeah, I mean the main reason I'm interested in watching is because of what's his name? I want to say Ryan. Who's the director of that movie?
Of Weapons?
Yeah, he did Barbarian. He wrote and directed
Ryan Krieger?
Zach Krieger.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. So like I said, that's one of my favorite movies, like of the last 10 years of like any genre. So yeah,
Well,
I
you
have.
like, yeah, but you like Companion too, because there's been a couple of movies that are like not directed by Zach Krieger, but produced by Zach Krieger.
Yep, yep.
And then you get Companion, you're like, ah.
I really did like Companion, but yeah, no, for me, Barbarian was like, I like that way more even.
I so badly wanted Justin Long to not be a piece of shit in that movie.
I
I was like, you know what? This is gonna be like, he's gonna be like Johnny Depp. We're gonna find out it was all bullshit, and then like in the third act, you're just like, nope.
He actually is that guy. Yeah, I mean, looking back, sure, I guess they did kind of play with that trope there, but I mean, I think there actually were guys like that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Like right. There are a ton of people that were falsely accused for sure, but I thought it was kind of funny. I thought they did a great job with the casting in that movie because, like, what's his name, Skarsgård? I thought he was great. Like, they did a great misdirect with him, and then they did a great misdirect with Justin Long in ways too. And
I do love when he's trying to sell the place. He's got like the tape measure, and he's like, "Oh, murder dungeon." He's like, "Oh, this is perfect."
That
so much money.
That movie, I think one of the reasons I love it so much, like in my bones, is because at that time, like watching that movie, I'm like, I have not been this scared during a movie in a while. Like the first time you go down the basement, like then you go down like the other basement, I'm like white knuckling in my chair. That's how like on edge I was. And then cut to later when you go down, you go through the same sequence, but with Justin Long. I'm laughing like I don't think I've laughed so hard in a movie in so long. So I'm just like just the 1-2 punch of like the like white knuckle horror, but then also with the comedy. Also, I'm like, dude, this is like one of my all-time favorites. I mean, I just absolutely loved it.
I mean, he's got the tape measurer, and there's like a blood-stained bed. There's a shit bucket in the corner, and he's like, "All right, over
and
here."
a camera.
He's like, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
prime real estate.
He's like gross square. Is like square footage doesn't usually. Oh hell yeah!
Let me get my Mac out and figure it out.
Oh my gosh, dude, he played such a great douche. Like, oh my gosh, like I was just I mean, yes, I know he's like a terrible person, but I was just like dying laughing the whole time. I mean, just like.
I do like in the end when he was like talking to himself, like trying to write his own like press release about how he was going to be the hero in this. He's like, I saved you, right?
Yeah.
Come on now. Come on. I'm the good guy. I'm the good guy. I'm the good guy. You're like, right. Come on, dude. And then you don't have a dong ratio in Barbarian, but you do have a booby ratio.
Oh my gosh.
You got some booby milk. just for Justin Long's nutritional value.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It prepared Asian Eye for life as parents.
Right? You're like, that's what it's gonna be like, sweetheart. Every couple hours.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, and then that hard. So speaking of hard cuts, we talked about that. Was that earlier with the monkey? Talk about hard cut. In Barbarian, right? I mean, just like at the height of the horror, just a hard cut to Justin Long driving in his Corvette in like California.
Yeah, where's this going? What are we doing?
Yeah, I thought it worked. I mean, I understand some people like it wasn't for them, but for me, I was just like I was 100% on board.
I like it more with time. Yeah, I've seen it a couple times now, and I do like how it kind of shifts into like hold on. Jeffrey Miller says the segment keeps growing, the booby ratio and the dong ratio. JMark, you're gonna have to come back.
Oh my gosh. What ratio can we think of next?
But yeah, I do like how it's like they built him up very well, where it's just like because you do feel for the guy in the beginning. You're like, he's gonna lose his pilot, his financial guy is firing him, his lawyer, his publicist is firing him, he's gonna have to move out. And you're like, this is America's sweetheart, Justin Long.
Yeah.
He could do no wrong. Jeepers Creepers and what is he waiting? He's in a lot of dodgeball.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't know. He's the Mac guy. Everybody went nuts, like, because he used to be like, do you remember those commercials with the Mac guy?
Oh
It'd be
man,
like a
yeah.
white backdrop, and it'd be like him and a Bill Gates lookalike.
Yep.
And like it was him just like, oh well, the Mac could do everything better. Everybody lost their shit when he was Googling something and he had the Mac and he's like, fucking Mac, and he flings it at the wall, and people in the audience went, oh. I'm like, oh, yeah,
Barbarian.
he was, yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, he is the Mac guy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. So totally on board for Barbarian. So one of the oh man, one thing that really makes me sad, and I hope this will change eventually. But did you know you still can't buy that movie on physical media?
Barbarian.
Yep.
What? So it was just on streaming.
Yep. So it was, yeah, like Warner Brothers, I think. And then I think Max. It was released to Max, and like, Amazon Prime, you could buy it or rent it. Yeah, there's been no physical release for it. And I'm like, which is funny. I'm not a big physical release guy, but the fact that there isn't one really bothers me. And I'm like, I saw it in theaters like 3 times,
Well, what was that Mike Flanagan movie? It's like the same way where it's like you have the girl and she's deaf, and
Hush.
Hush. That's another one you can't get on physical media.
Did that come out?
No. And then I'm not sure. They might have even pulled it from Netflix where like you just can't find it anywhere now.
Wow.
And Hush is a good movie. I mean, it's not like groundbreaking, but like I remember watching it going like, this is pretty solid.
But I thought there was some recent news about Hush. Like either it got a physical release or it was re-released, or like it was released in theaters for the first time or something. I think there was some sort of news. Jeffrey Miller can look it up. Jeffrey, let us know what the most recent news with Hush is. Did it come out? Can I buy a steelbook of Hush? Jeffrey, will you send me a steelbook of Hush, Jeffrey?
The internet says no.
The internet says no.
They're trying to get Scream Factory to do like a collector's edition, but like as of now, nothing. Also, we're gonna wrap it up soon, guys. So if you, Jeffrey, if you have any questions you want to throw at us real quick, we'll throw it in. But I don't want to take JMark's time more than he's a family man. He's got a 2-year-old at home. So, well, he's at home, but he's got a 2-year-old in the other room. He's got to get busy. What kind of horror movies are you guys both into? The gore, the supernatural, the thriller? I mean, Thriller's a great music video. Well, what kind of horror movies are you guys both into? Like together or separately? Like, where's our Venn diagram overlap?
Right.
Or separately. I mean, I think we kind of established at the beginning that you're kind of like a Chucky guy. I'm kind of like a Art the Clown guy. Zombies. He says zombies ? Yeah. Well, yeah. We were talking about 28 years later. I think that's both on our most coveted 2025 horror movie, because I can't think of maybe Weapons, but I think I'm more excited for 28 years later, to be honest, because like it's a comeback to the original IP a little bit.
Yeah.
But hopefully Weapons could be a misfire. I hope it's not, but you never know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sophomore slump. You hope that's not going to be the case. I mean, it looks really good, but
let's do Jeffrey right. Real quick, I say a word, JMark, and you say the movie. Okay. So, what is your favorite gory horror movie? Just first come to your head.
My favorite gory horror movie would be oh man. Oh, do you have one offhand? Is it Terrifier?
Terrifier 2. The bedroom scene's pretty good.
Oh man. Oh, what's my favorite? I mean, maybe okay. Probably this is the first one that comes to mind, and there might be another one, but this is definitely towards the top of the list. But probably The Thing.
Yeah, I mean that's my favorite horror movie in general. So yeah, that's a pretty good gory one. The practical effects are pretty good.
Yeah, that one's a hard one to beat. And I was okay. Also, before we wrap up, I was going to ask. We'll come back.
You're not done yet. This has got sections to it.
Okay, yeah.
Next one, Supernatural.
Probably The Exorcist.
The original.
Yeah, probably.
Not The Exorcist Believer.
I haven't actually seen that one.
It's so bad, dude.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, Supernatural. I mean, I hate saying Terrifier 2 again, but it is a supernatural movie.
Oh my gosh!
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like Supernatural though. I'm just picturing the TV show right now, the two guys.
Yeah,
that's kind of a hard one. I mean, The Exorcist is pretty solid. I think Jeffrey Miller. Let me look up. Yeah, he also. The Last Rite is the one that's coming out now, or at least I think it's this week or next week. I think it's a small release. I haven't been following it, but that's like the one where it's like Al Pacino is a priest and they're doing like an exorcist
Really?
type of situation. Yeah, and my buddy over at the Wasteland Reviews, I bumped into him at a press screening, and he was telling me about it, and he's like, "It's what you expect." He's like, Al Pacino kind of got paid for it, and he kind of like, he has like one scene where he overacts. I haven't seen it personally, but I kind of got the vibe that like it doesn't look amazing.
Okay.
I'm not gonna see it in theaters. I will check it out though. But not to be annoyingly redundant, I think I'm going to go Terrifier as well for the Supernatural. It makes me want to like reassess my gore one a little bit. And number 3, or actually there's 4 of them because we got thriller and zombies. What's your best thriller movie?
Oh man.
I'll try to think of mine too, so we can save time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So my favorite thriller. I mean, can I say like The Dark Knight?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to.
No? I mean, that's.
Oh, no. He says, what kind of horror movies?
Oh, okay.
It's gotta be horror.
Oh man.
I'm gonna go Silence of the Lambs because that's pretty much my level of thriller. It's
Really?
like psychological horror. Yeah, a little bit. I think psychological horror is kind of like that overlap with thriller a little bit.
Yeah.
I so badly want to be like Michael Jackson thriller.
I don't know if this is number 1, but I mean, Train to Busan is pretty intense.
Yeah, dude.
That's a good one. Or even I Am Legend. I mean, that's thrilling. That when I was younger, that was like a gateway into horror for me. Was I Am Legend. So yeah, that still is a special place in my heart. And then zombies.
It's hard because a lot of them are TV.
I know. Yeah, there's so many good ones on TV. Movie wise, oh man. I'm
gonna go Dawn of the Dead.
Okay. I feel like there's so many movie ones I haven't actually seen.
Just from my point of view, and I'll give you time to think.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, does I Am Legend count? I mean, they're kind of zombies.
Sure.
They're like infected.
Yeah.
I'll go with I Am Legend for now. I feel like there might be another one, but yeah,
I would go 28 Days Later if people weren't kind of like heavy-handed on the whole they're not really zombies bit. Like technically they're not zombies. Like if I can actually put that in, I would pick that. But yeah, you can't go wrong with George A. Romero doing zombies. Like the man kind of wrote the book on it.
Yeah. Oh, what about Evil Dead?
Evil Dead's. Well, what are those? Yeah. Well, Evil Dead 2 is my pick for Supernatural.
Ooh, yeah, Evil Dead.
Because I don't know if they're zombies. They're like undead. I don't know if you technically call them zombies.
Deadites?
There's a lot going. Yeah, you got like what's that book? The Caprichondria? Necronomia. Thank you. But I don't know if you'd call them like that's almost more of a possession movie than it is a zombie movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. What about what about Evil Dead Rise?
The new one?
Ooh.
I like that one. That was a good one.
That's pretty metal, right? That's like, whew, this is a
like in the elevator filling up with blood, and then the parking garage, you got the splatter with the grinder and all that. It was pretty solid.
Pretty wild. Yeah. Well, what about Jeffrey Miller? You should put in the chat what you're for.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they got the MVP in the chat, man. You know.
What are your picks? Jeffrey Miller? What's your favorite horror movie? What's your favorite scary movie? Hopefully he didn't leave the chat. This will be.
While he's typing, I was gonna say one last thing to maybe end on would be you mentioned your girlfriend really likes sci-fi, and then I thought of one I saw in theaters that I really liked was Alien Covenant. Is that the most recent one?
Romulus.
That's right. Yeah,
Covenant. We watched that. We just watched what did we watch recently? We watched Alien versus Predator. She put that on.
Oh man, was that gory enough for?
You know what? That movie I think has a place in our hearts because like we both saw it in theaters like when we were like 13, whenever it was like 2003 ish. But it's just like a good, fun, schlocky. I mean, it's a grudge match, right? Like, it takes away all the lore and all of like the personality of the original movies, kind of, and it's just kind of like a schlocky MTV movie kind of deal where it's just like grudge match, Alien, Predator, go. and it was made in a time where it was like you could do that like kind of like over the topness where it was like it's just fun and nothing more. Don't get hung up on it. It's probably not canon to everything else. They got a new Alien show, Alien Earth, coming out. Did you hear about that one?
Yeah, I watched the trailer. I watched some of the trailer like yesterday, or the day before. It looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm excited.
Jeffrey Miller says Evil Dead, somewhere in there is Hereditary.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that kind of brings us back full circle with Bring Her Back, because I feel like that's kind of like one of those elevated horror, surreal, gets
Yeah.
under your skin, supernatural, like on a psychological level.
I was watching Hereditary is one of my favorite horror movies. I'd say probably Exorcist is still number one, but Hereditary is like top 5, maybe top 3.
Shining's good too.
Oh yeah. Oh, I feel like every time I watch The Shining, it goes up higher.
And The Thing, that's another one.
Yep. Those would be like in the top 5 for sure. But the Hereditary, I watched this really good video the other day. Maybe you've seen it. It looks like it had like 1 million or 2 million views, but it was like one terrifying scene, and it was a breakdown of basically the last 5 minutes or whatever, like last 5, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like Ari Aster just throws the kitchen sink, right? I mean, just the way they broke it all down, and they're like, any one of these things would be terrifying and would really stay with you. There's like 6 or 7 things in a row, right?
Yes. They start with a telephone pole.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's, exactly, yeah. Well, not even getting into that. Like, absolutely. But like the mom crawling on the
She's like on the ceiling.
As he goes down, sees his dead dad burned to a crisp.
And then
see the mom on the ceiling again.
And then she's got the cord, and she's just like,
well, but before you even get to that, she then appears in the corner, runs out, jump scare, runs out after him, chases him upstairs. He goes in the attic, and then she's upside down on the ceiling, banging her head. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? And then he's up in the attic, and then he sees like a chalk outline of like a part of a ritual, right? Like obviously doing some weird, wacky stuff there. And then I think he sees a naked person. He looks up. Well, he hears the looks up. His mom is literally sawing her head off with like a piano wire. And then it's just like with a terrifying look on her face. And then he turns and sees like a bunch of naked people. And he does in the movie, in the video, they're like, and he does exactly what we would do. He just like screams and jumps out the window and dies. You're just like, what an ending! Like
Toni Collette's amazing in that movie.
Oh my gosh! Like the fact that she did not even get a nomination is a crime.
That's what I'm saying. Oscars don't do that. They don't play that game apparently.
Right.
Like I love that one scene where she lights the book on fire and Gabriel Byrne just goes whoosh, or like that's it's a good tie. It's a good way we'll loop it back as we end it. It's a good tie into Sinners, because like that's a movie where it could stand alone as like an Oscar-winning family drama about grief. The daughter died. You could take the horror out, and it works as like an Oscar. It's like theater. You know what I mean? She's like, "I am your mother." Yeah. It's like, oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything you say, Toni Collette?
Did you see Midsommar real quick?
Yeah. So that was another. I think I did the first 2 or 3 movie reactions I did was I think the first one I did was I can't even think of the name of it. The one with Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that high school movie. 10 Things
I Know About You.
Something like that. I did that one, and it kind of sucked, and I took it down. And then, I did Child's Play, and then Midsommar, and that one's still up. But anyways, I love Midsommar.
Can you change the 10 Things I Know About You video back to public so I can watch it? I want to see that video. I love you, babe. Come on. Heath Ledger, R.I.P.
I think I think part of what happened was it kept getting like claimed or something, and then I used the YouTube editor wrong and like edited out half of it or something like this. So there's something weird happened with it, and so I probably still have it somewhere. I'm sure I could send it to you. But I was still figuring out how to like get the audio right and get everything synced up right. But anyways, but I was just like, screw this. I'm not doing rom-coms. I'm going to go and do horror now,
I think you made the right choice, but that's just me.
I think
all right, we're going to wrap it up. JMark, I hope you come back. This was a lot of fun. If you want to check out JMark Swartzentruber, his YouTube channel is just like it says below.
Yeah.
Is right there, JMark Swartzentruber.
Figure
Kind
out
of a
how to
mouthful, but just copy paste. I'll leave the link down below. Is there anything you want to plug or push or anything like that before we say goodbye?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I would say no. Yeah, I would say go ahead and give us go check out some of our videos if it's for you. Yeah, give us a subscription. The plan is to start posting again here very shortly. And so I am excited to hop back in the movie YouTube side of things. I've been posting on YouTube on other types of channels, but yeah, I'm excited to hop back into the movie side of things.
Would you like to come back the Monday after 28 years later and do this again?
100%. Let's do it.
All right, then we'll do it. So that's I want to say, when is that coming out? June 17th or something like that?
I think so. Yeah. So
All right, then we'll put it down. We'll do it 9 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll bring back JMark and all of his maybe you'll see some of those movies between now and then, some horror movies you want to talk about.
Bloodlines. I'll just binge through all of them.
Whatever's on streaming. We're not gonna make you go digging too deep. It'll be on streaming in a week or two anyway.
There we go. We just hit 2 hours 30 minutes.
We did, man. We did like champs. Well, you know what? It's the pilot. We have to hit the ground running. Plus I have to chop this up into clips and reuse it again.
That's right.
That's just how YouTube works these days.
Uh-huh.
So, but anyway, thank you so much, JMark. It's been too long. I hope you come back.
Yes.
Thank you to Jeffrey Miller, who is our MVP in the comments today, and the other people who watched. Sure, sir, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came on. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It was an honor to be on the first episode. I'm excited to come back soon.
I got I got like a new phone, and like my old phone was just on the shelf collecting dust. And I brushed it off and I plugged it in, and I was like going through it, and I was like, old phone numbers that I forgot that I had because I didn't move to the new phone. I'm like, JMark, and I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna do this live stream, I think he'd be the first, right down the middle, easy, friendly kind of co-host that we could bring on. But dude, if you want to do this more often, you just give me a text or a call and we'll do it.
So let's do it, man.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to go check out JMark Swartzentruber on his channel. And you can subscribe right down here at Burns Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a long day, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to JMark. We will see you next time.
All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Thanks, Burns.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.